Hello. Hello, hello. Greetings, everyone. How are we doing today? It is a lovely, what is today? Friday? It is Friday. And not only is it Friday, it is in fact Feral Friday. And so I welcome everyone. Oh gosh, we have so many wonderful people already in the chat. We see Eddie, Drunken Panda, Amelie, hello, Jacob W, Inquisitor, Kid Toy Poi, oh, ah, and the sub, hello, Kid Poi, Mochi, Dream Cartographer, also Shiffers, greetings. And Crispy Frog, thank you so much for the resub. 5 months. Gosh, you've been here every single month for 5 months. That's incredible. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh, we're getting the sips in too.
Refresh yourselves.
Oh, it's taken me this long and I still haven't put the alert over the little badge here. It's fine. Watching while I clean out my hamsters. Oh goodness. I hope that goes well. Hamsters are silly creatures. Oh gosh, and I haven't even set up my little reading screen yet. I'm so on top of things. Don't you worry. Love your Switch design. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have it out here because I'm playing Pokemon a lot recently. Ooh. So yeah, I just have a little my little screen here, but I have little like a flowery pattern on it. And so yeah, it's just sitting here charging. But yeah. Yeah, I bought one of those like little vinyl like Switch skins. So you just like stick it on. What's the sub goal for? Man, I don't know. I just keep setting the goal higher every time it goes up. Well, no, actually, okay. Sub goal. I don't know actually. I have some things that I do need to actually buy for myself for my computer. Oh! Oh my goodness. Shiffers. Stop. Alright, now I have to figure out something to do for this sub goal. But thank you for the subs to Crazy Eddie, Amelie, Evan Eriks, and Avalon Moon Queen. Much appreciated. Oh my gosh. Shiffers, you can't keep doing this to me. You can't keep having me live my life like this. I know what is wrong. It's all in the white design. What? Oh, and the sippy after I take a sippy. Gosh, now I have to come up with something to do to celebrate this little sub goal. No, okay. You know, actually, what my goals have been recently is I'm thinking. You see all little pigeons down here. Maybe we might start getting some more custom birds, custom designs. New emote to celebrate. That's certainly an option. I do have a need for more emotes, just in general, in my life. But we're not here to talk about me today. No, we are here to talk about wonderful world builders in the community who have sent me things to read. Push-ups? Oh gosh. If I had a pull-up bar, I'd start doing pull-ups for you guys to show off how buff I am. Ducks. It is funny that you say ducks. Because, Drunken Panda, you may indeed be the first on the chopping block today. Once I set up my screen, of course. I didn't realize readings were an early stream today. Now I'm nervous. Oh no. Well, yes, today it is Feral Friday, and Feral Friday is where we do our little readings. And so let me pull up our first article of today. Let me just grab it for you. Well, bang. Lucky Ducky letter exchange. And yes, so here we go. We have, oh my gosh, okay, hold on. Finally, everything's in dark mode. Very good. Yes. I cannot live in light mode. So here we go. We have this article right here. Here's the link for everyone. I recommend everyone go drop some likes, go drop some comments if you feel particularly moved by an article. It is much appreciated, and everyone loves a little bit of love every now and then, right? Sub goal met. Sub goal has been met. Thanks to the mischievous Shiffers over here, just handing out subs like it's candy. Gosh, much appreciated though. I I just get very, very easily flustered when people start giving me things. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do with this? But no, we're here to read this article. And look at this header image. Isn't it so cute? Look at all these duckies. These are business ducks. They got places to be. Here we go. You know, someone once tried to use a goose to duplicate the success of the exchange. It did not go as planned. Jasper Cameron, leader of the Bronze Ravens. The history of the Lucky Ducky letter exchange is somewhat shrouded in legend, but I will try to dispel some of that here and stick to the facts where I can. Sometime in the past, before the Necromancer Wars, but after the fall of the Storm Giant Empire, someone at one end of Dragonspine Mountains decided they were going to follow the ducks on their annual migration. Depending on where you hear the story, you will hear a number of different reasons for this ridiculous quest. A hunter challenged a rival that he couldn't track the same duck for a whole year, or an impossible challenge was given to a prospective soldier to prove their worthiness. Something silly like that. A duck was marked with a ribbon or a magical token, or chosen because of a unique feather pattern, which is most likely, and then the person set out to complete this impossible task. Along the way, the person learned some magic, or met a wise hermit, or earned the favor of a god. You get the picture. They were able to keep up with the duck, no small miracle when traversing a mountain range. Each night they would make camp near where the ducks had landed, and the next day they would set out again, always keeping the V just in sight. No storm darkened the sky, or perhaps one did as they heroically pushed through it, and eventually they came to where the ducks spent their winter. There were, surprisingly, people there, as well as near many various lakes along the way. On the way back, the ducks stopped in the exact same lakes. Sadly, the designated duck was shot by a hunter or killed by an eagle or fox. No one believed the person had succeeded when they returned with the ducks next year. So they said they would do it again, and send a letter with the token back by duck, before returning this time after 2 years. This time, they succeeded with their task. Now, seasonal communications are sent up and down the Dragonspine Mountains using the Lucky Ducky letter exchange. To address a letter, one simply need know the color code for the town it is going to. All towns that participate have feeding stations set up for the ducks, to attract them to town and allow the retrieval and sending of the letters. When the flock lands, take any letters bearing your town's designated color, attach any that you want to send bearing the receiving town's designated color, and let the ducks go on their way. Usually, more than one copy of a letter is sent on a separate duck. After all, while ducks are now friendly after thousands of years of practice, they are not tame, and accidents do happen in the wilds between towns. Still, the residents of these mountain lake towns are incredibly well informed of the goings-on in the wider world, and it is all thanks to the Lucky Ducky letter exchange. I love this. This is precious. It is adorable. I love these little duckies. These are little employed duckies. This is sweet, but duck is delicious. True. Stream froze on my end. Just me, right? I don't know. I hope maybe it's just you, but if it is just you, that's still really sad. Just you, well, I'm sorry stream is not working for even one person. But yes, the Lucky Ducky letter exchange. We have gotten off to start on the absolute right foot, on little ducky feet. Shh, Tillers might hear, but duck is delicious. That is true. But yes, wonderful, wonderful. I will send everyone this link a second time, you know, just in case. I want coffee. But here's that link once again. I will take my little refresh helped. I be here once more. Yes, good. I will take my little sips as I have finished reading of the article. And now let us see. So we're essentially going in order of like prompt number today. So it's how we did it before. Last time we did it by author name. We're just gonna go by prompt number. And so it seems that Dream Cartographer is next on the list. Let me just grab this, pop it in here. And we have Phantom Touch. Chris and I have agreed to cut up here in your chat. Ooh. Scream not. Scream not, for your articles are all wonderful. If my page will refresh, I will send the link here. And this is a language prompt. Was not expecting to be on this soon. Fear not, everyone gets their turn, sooner or later. But here we go. We have the Phantom Touch. Phantom Touch is a secret form of communication used by members of Libertas to send messages to each other. It is designed to be invisible and nearly impossible to detect, working via fingertip presses that transmit sensory stimuli to specific Libertas members via the Crimson Layer. Oh, and the Crimson Layer is a sensory aura that exists in Aurora, except for Azure Town and Earth. Ooh, pretty nifty. How it works. As part of the new Libertas members' initiation, the person gets a tattoo placed somewhere on their body, usually their hand or forearm, in special invisible ink. This tattoo enables them to send messages via the Crimson Layer manipulation, which allows them to generate and pick up sensory stimuli that can be detected by other tattoos. The higher the member's rank, the more complex the tattoo. What makes the messages different from the sensory stimuli that can be detected by regular variant tech is that they are sent via artificial mini-shimmers, partially opened rifts that are designed to go to different places in Aurora instead of Earth. The tattoo ink is actually designed to generate these shimmers at will, keep them linked to the tattoo's owner at all times, and enable them to control which tattoo the message will be transmitted to. This top-secret Libertas technology that not even the scholars know about. Ooh, so this is very, very secret. Love me some good tattoo ideas. Yeah, me too. Yeah, this one's shaping up to be real cool so far. Now, where am I? Right here. The Libertas member starts the message by tracing the tattoo of the members they want to send the message to over their own. Once they feel a slight vibration in their skin, they'll know they've drawn a valid pattern and the shimmer has opened. They will then place 2 or 3 fingertips on the tattoo and push them down in a pattern. This is based on pressure, so the message will be communicated via a series of soft, medium, and hard presses. Once the message is complete, the Libertas member wipes 1 fingertip across the tattoo. This signals the end of the message and sends it via the shimmer. The message then comes through the recipient's shimmer in the form of sensory stimuli that is felt directly on their skin, hence the name Phantom Touch. It is preceded by a series of 5 buzzes, and the sensation of the sender's tattoo being traced over their own. This is an indication of who the message is from, and a signal to the recipient to pay close attention, though more practiced users of Phantom Touch are able to understand the message immediately, even while engaged in other tasks. At the end of the message, they feel the wipe that indicates the message is done. Ooh. This is really cool. I wish I could do this in the real life. Variations. Sometimes a message will need to be sent to multiple people at once. In this case, the sender will continue tracing the tattoos associated with each recipient until all of them have been drawn prior to sending the message. If an entire rank or group needs to be contacted, the sender will trace a symbol that represents that rank or group instead. If there are multiple ranks or groups that need to be contacted, the sender traces all of their symbols, just like when contacting multiple people. There's also a special symbol for sending a message to all members of Libertas at once. If there are certain individuals that need to be excluded from a mass message, the sender can also do so by tracing the rank/group symbols, pressing down hard for 5 seconds, then tracing the tattoos of those they wish to exclude before pressing down hard for another 5 seconds. They can then proceed with the message as normal. And portal technology. The technology behind sending messages to multiple people at once via a single shimmer is highly classified, even within Libertas itself. The majority of Libertas members are unaware of how it works or who is involved in creating it. Some speculate that it emerged as a result of attempts to create portals to worlds other than Earth, in order to find a new home of the variants, or even just Libertas, and abandon Simone. What is that? Ooh, an ancient supercomputer that resides in the heart of the Citadel. Fancy, fancy. So yeah, this is very, very cool. Indeed, it is a silent form of communication. touching little tattoos on your hands and arm. Ooh, tracing patterns. You may have to steal it. Oh. Do so at the discretion of the author. But yeah. I mean, yeah, every time I see like a form of communication like this, I'm like, ooh, yes. This is fun, this is fancy, and there's a lot of fun little ways that you can use this. So yeah, some awesome tech that you're working with.
Refresh yourselves.
Oh, and another sippy, thank you very much. Steal with consent or evocative. Listen, many things are possible if you put your mind to it. Alright, who shall be next? Next on the list. We do have an article here by Melissa Plays RPGs, also another silent language. So let's bring this over here, bam. And we start off with this lovely header image. And here we go, we have mirror sign. So let me just, no, let me first say, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting, I'm not currently like logged in to Streamlabs, so I can't send messages directly through it right now. There you go, but this is the link for the previous article, once again, for anyone who missed it. And moving on, here is the link to our next. So this is Mirror Sign by Melissa Plays RPGs. And here we are. Magic mirrors do not generate sound. They are a silent form of communication. In the early years after it was discovered how to use magic mirrors, in the early years after it was discovered how to use the magic mirrors left behind by the goblins, but before the dwarves and men learned to make their own mirrors, the handheld mirrors were primarily used for sharing records between merchants, governments, and other large institutions. After larger, more powerful, and ornate magic mirrors became a sign of wealth and power, magic mirrors hit the peak of their popularity. They were being used for personal matters. While it was all well and good for a banker to share records with another branch of office by holding up a ledger to a mirror, interactions of a more social nature required faster means of communication. Mirror sign is a language built on a series of hand gestures and facial expressions to convey ideas quickly. We have some continental dialects here. Very cool. There are two main branches within the mirror sign language, one for each continent. The polar continent has added depth to language with special emphasis being applied to words based on location near the face where the gesture is displayed. On the equatorial continent, they have additional hand gestures that they add to express a similar emphasis. As intercontinental contact became more commonplace, the two styles often became intertwined, with a mirror sign user switching between the two mid-sentence. See, this is one of those things that even in the real life, I always wonder about, because there are a lot of different forms of like sign language just throughout the world. Like different countries will have different forms of sign language. So I always wonder, like, you put two people with a different form of sign language together, I feel like it'd just be really confusing. Because there might be a lot of overlap in the way that you describe certain things in different versions of sign language. You'd have to really figure it out. And if you're switching between the two different ones mid-sentence, I don't know. I'm sure people do it in the real life too, but like, I simply cannot comprehend it. But we have archaic flair. As humans explore the Dreamstone Codex to master archaic magic, those who are talented begin to show off by adding little magical effects to their gestures. Seen as pompous and vain by some, it added another layer of expression and whimsy to mirror sign for others. And we did read the Dreamstone Codex in a previous Feral Friday, so we have some context. Out of fashion. After the mirror shade insurrection, magic mirrors were seen as too dangerous to allow. Mirror shrouding was no longer considered enough protection from the demonic influence caused by the mirrors. Many of the magic mirrors of Akir were destroyed. It should be noted that surviving members of the Voidbound cult still teach mirror sign to their recruits. They have saved any mirrors they could obtain. Verena, the warlock, makes use of a large magic mirror at the Demon Heart Vault, hidden under Ice Wraith Expanse. Ooh. So, this was once a commonplace and pretty casual form of communication, and now it's too dangerous and is only used by the evil demon and void cults. That's fun. It's fun to see how things just kind of turn around in such a way. Just through history and through the way that things kind of transform and shift. And with that, I shall take my little sippies. Ah, this is good. I like this article. Let's see who. Mirrors are fun. Mirrors are fun. There are a lot of different things that people write about mirrors, and just like they shake things up and they change different things. And it just gets really interesting. I'm just gonna make Discord off screen real quick. Hello, Judas, hello! Hello, welcome. I feel like I haven't heard from you in like 10,000 years. How are you? How are you doing? I hope your summer camp has been going well. I'm currently just reaching around for something. I love the idea of sign language to communicate through mirrors that don't carry sound. Yeah, exactly. 10,000 years give you such a crick in the neck. Also true. But yeah, I completely feel you on the whole being extremely busy with work and stuff. I've also been bogged down with quite a few many things. And summer camp kind of stalled. Strong start getting 25 articles done very quickly, but none for over a week. Need to get finished. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you get like a really strong start on stuff like this, you kind of just like, you peter down, or like, sometimes you even burn out a little bit, but I believe in you. If you're still pushing for that goal, I'm rooting for you. I take one more little sip before moving on to our next article of the day. And that is, indeed, Crazy Eddie. Let me just get this in here. Bam! We have the Sword Maiden. It's you! Ah, with the maidens, yes indeed. I'm in the same boat. Should be finishing up this weekend though. Heck yeah! Yeah, if I will get diamond, there is no question of if, just how/when. That's the spirit. Heck yeah, I support it. So, I mean, the articles from you that I've seen so far they're lovely. Astervella has followed. Thank you very much. Hello, welcome in. Here's the link to the article we are about to go read. Once again, it is time for some likes and love and comments. Once I got my diamond, I completely petered out with new stuff. We are writing old articles like like a mother hecker. Astervella, hello. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I finished I got diamond, of course, and after that I was like, okay, cool, it's time to go edit the articles that I've already done for summer camp. And instead, I've started rewriting a completely different article. Just like a completely different article removed from summer camp. It's just not related. Well, you know, it's related to some stuff that I wrote for summer camp, but is not a prompt. And oh my gosh, congrats on diamond again, reached mine yesterday as well. Yes, I saw, it was wonderful. I ended up writing like my favorite quote that I've ever put into an article before. And I don't even know like where I pulled it out of my brain from, but like it was just in there. And now I have to deal with the consequences. Maybe if I have time, I'll share it on stream today. Just like the article that I'm currently working on. It's a bit of a mishmash. It's not like... I wouldn't say that it's fully shareable yet because it's still just all over the place. But it's in the works. And the quote I made for it is pretty fire, so... 5 summer camp articles to wrap up, heck yeah. Blech, consequences, nasty. But anyway, article. This is what we are here for, yes. Are you reading articles? This is one I enjoyed if you need submissions. Yes, if it is a Diamond Wave article, I will take it. I will add it to the list. And if there is time after, you know, after all the other submissions, I will absolutely add it as well. Ooh, actually, the one that you've sent me is for the historical venerated figure, which is my sponsored prompt, and I shall not be reading this until after the event. Just so you know. But we shall carry on for this. Sword Maiden. Overview. Oh, sorry. No worries. Don't you worry about it. Sword Maiden, singular, or Sword Maidens, plural, sometimes Sisters of Steel or Steel Sister, are an organization dating back to Ganguk and the 2 neighboring kingdoms. They originated from a freelance underground organization with the same name until Ganguk was sucked into the hellish abyss, which ultimately ended up in the Spiral. With this, they lost their main base of operation and moved into the northern kingdom of Vraitha after their first queen. They had a small forwarded operation base there, but now they needed another headquarter. Ah, with the sippies, where's my cup? Why, thank you. How you doing, Nino? Hanging out, having a good day? The Sisters of Steel, Sword Maidens, consist only of females. That includes all 3 elvish ethnicities, and excludes Garladins and Goblins, especially Garladins. For the elves, they have a different way, and they have 2 female orcs in their ranks. The Sword Maidens are, clue is in the name, an organization consisting only of female individuals. We have this entire sidebar filled with different arts and pictures. Very cool to see. I'm a sucker for any lady in armor. This is known. Just, how can you resist, right? And there's more. Ooh. I'm doing okay. Dreading the next work week, though. Ugh, me too. I mean, like, I don't know if I have a lot to do next week during work, but it's work, so. But we have structure. The structure of the Sword Maidens is relatively simple. There's the Queen of Blades, the familiar daggers, as the helpers, and the trusted council of the Queen. And there are the whetstones, basically instructors. Beyond that, there are only the Sword Maidens, the working force of the organization. And they are the ones who are both worker and recruiter. I know that I cannot, yes. Recruits and recruiting. The only recruiters the Sword Maidens have are the Sword Maidens themselves. During their assignments, they keep an eye open for opportunities such as thieves, hurt or desperate female individuals, or females with skills. Sometimes even princesses are recruited and hardened to sharp weapons by the whetstones. Most of the recruiting has to happen in the shadows and the dark of night, dark alleyways or during loud conversations in taverns or halls, during festivities or after an assignment. Those recruits are sent to the headquarter in Vraitha or guided to it in the presence of a Sword Maiden. The maiden has to vouch for the recruit in front of the Queen of Swords and at least one of the whetstones. She has to list all of the talents of the new recruit and to point out the actual and eventual worth for the organization. If the recruit is accepted, training starts the same day. If not, there are 2 options. A spell or potion of loss, which deletes memories of a certain time span, or the recruit gets killed. Most of the time, the spell or the potion are the preferred methods. Since there aren't many Sword Maidens, or even members of the entire organization, 20 Sword Maidens, 3 whetstones, 2 familiars during the time of the Spiral, they have to rely on their recruiting skills and the desperation of the recruits, or bloodlust, or empty pockets, or all together. Did I miss any articles before Lucky Ducky Letter? That is where chat backlog ends. And I want to catch up. Nope, yep, Lucky Ducky was the first, so you have not missed anything before that. Here we go. Training section. If the recruit is accepted, she gets 2 sets of clothes and starts training right away. First, the whetstone assesses the skills, which they were praised by the recruiting sword maiden, and after the evaluation and the training starts with endurance and strength training. Depending on the teacher, there are some weapon trainings infused, but the first months are reserved to get the body in needed shape. After 6 to 9 months, the training is getting harder with weapon training and sense sharpening, darker rooms filled with obstacles and the trainee blindfolded, swinging obstacles, some wooden beams, and things that can throw you off balance, rooms and surroundings which produce sounds, and the trainee needs to avoid bolts or daggers or other nasty things. When the whetstone deems the trainee ready, she gives her field equipment and both go on a mission outside the normal assignments. The goal, to harden the recruit against the heat of real combat, sweat, and blood. At the end of the training assignment, they need to bring back a bit of money to cover the expenses for the organization. That's excellent. I will stay here and read the 3 I missed after stream. Heck yes. And of course, anybody who misses any articles just throughout the stream in general, there will be the VOD, of course, after stream. There will also be the article that I make after all of this as like the showcase featuring all the articles that I'm reading today. And so you'll be able to go back and check through the links basically anytime you wish for the rest of time. Keep it nice and easy to access for everybody. A nice and sweet ensemble of actors you have here, grinned Alfara at her training whetstone. What do you mean? Asked the whetstone behind her black mask. Only the eyes were visible. Well, they act as they were waiting for us, and try not to at the same way. The guards pay not really attention to the stairways or the roof. They're not paid actors. This is real. Really? Her grin vanished. She drew the dagger and nodded. Good. Then let's begin. As you wish. Trainee Alfara and her whetstone during a training assignment. Elven exception. The Sword Maiden consists only of females. They do not let in goblins or garladins because of obvious reasons. The only exception are the elves of all ethnicities because they can change and stay in their female form. But they only recruit elves when they prefer their female form 70 to 90% of the time. 100% would be better. If they can't stay in their female form all the time, they can negotiate up to a week for being in the male form to vent. This is timed for between assignments or breaks, which are more seldom than one may think. This has to be accepted either by the Queen of Blades or by the contractor. If the Queen of Blades accepts it, the contractor has to accept it. If the Queen doesn't accept it or points to the contractor to decide it, the contractor has the last word. In the case that both deny the request, the elf... Spoiler? Warning, sexual content. We're all mostly adults here, maybe. The elf can have relations in various forms or use a specialized form of meditation in combat, and also the special potion. The expenses of the ingredients are partially covered by the organization by the price of the assignment. The contractor does not know this. Blue Anvil! Blue Anvil! Blue Anvil! Potion seller! Please don't say it. Annoyed potion seller to an elf. Potion seller. I need your finest potions. My potions are too strong for you, traveler. Someone say Blue Anvil? I wrote about those last week. I'm going to battle and I need your strongest potions. Appearance. Ooh. Sword maidens use a variety of clothes and armor. There's no real dress code or uniform that they could be identified with. The only thing which is proof of their allegiance to the organization, and they are indeed a sword maiden, Blue Anvil, is a small medallion with the organization's crest. The uniform and/or armor of a sword maiden normally follows one core principle: agility over sturdiness. This means a sword maiden has to be agile. It does not block or catch hits, be it swords, bolts, or swords. She has to be as agile as the wind and as deadly as a sunfire moth when angered. This core principle leads to interesting combinations of armor and clothes. Some sword maidens prefer to be in the darkness, so their clothes are more black, gray, and various shades of it. Others, especially the bodyguards, tend to dress in more colorful clothes and armors. Why are you wearing this? Otherwise I would go undressed? No, I mean the screaming colors. Oh, the people should see me, even the attackers, so they can see who they are dealing with. Has that worked before? Sometimes, yes. Colorful bodyguard with her contractor. Their weaponry is also part of their choice. Most of them use agile swords and daggers so they can act fast, but others wear long swords, claymores, shields, or spears. Some even halberds if they can wield them. So in here we have some more portraits of shield maidens. Ooh. Some armored ladies for everyone's viewing enjoyment. And employments. The sword maidens are rental swords. They're contracted for one specific assignment with only one contractor. Thank you for the sippy. We are doing a lot of talking today, so more sippies is always helpful. The organization is contacted through a chain of freelance runners, so they're no part of the organization. The contractor needs to know the runner in their nearest city or settlement. If it is urgent, they pay a bit just to get the word out. The Queen of Blades, or the familiar dagger, asks what the assignment is about. The contractor states the matter, and what it is worth, in their opinion, and what kind of services they want. The Queen or the familiar has bought a service list with them. Each service has a specific price range and covers everything, including bodily stuff, if the sword maiden in question is up to it. Mostly they aren't, and when the contractor insists on them, well, they never see a sword maiden again. Exceptions not included. We love that. We value consent in this house. Hello, oh, Moonlight Bard. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Every assignment is normally covered by one single sword maiden. In normal cases, even with tricky assassinations, that is more than enough. But sometimes the assignment is so dangerous, tricky, or otherwise different that the Queen or the familiar assigns 2, 3, or even 4 sword maidens to the same contractor. In this rare case, they communicate with a silent language with hands, threads, colors, the color blade code. Ooh. That's fun. Hi, Lime. Hello, I'm feeling very sour today. Tales of steel and blood. She is beauty, she is grace, she will kick them in the face. Why are you rhyming? It came over me. Oh, see? 10 against her, poor bastards. Contractor with a friend watching a sword maiden. And if she's up to it, the man wiggled his eyebrows. If you're up for it, Davina shrugged with her shoulders, but it'll cost you double the normal service price. Size difference, you know? And that's a problem for a dwarf? He asked, irritated. Sure thing. She patted her colorful iron armor. I have to be gentle so I don't break your spine. Oh. A woman after my own heart. Sword maiden negotiating with her contractor. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They'll never know what hit them. Sword maiden while killing with bow and arrow. My bard, you'll need to plug your ears later. My article here is a submission prompt you sponsored. Ooh. We got secrets in here. You are beautiful, said Throlar, surprised. I know, grinned Alfar, and curtsied before him. She wore a colorful dress in blue, red, green, and purple with bare shoulders, and a small chain around her neck which drew the eyes of the other person down to her chest. Not that I wouldn't like the view, but it was a bit distracting, and, well, I have worries that you can't protect me during this meeting, said the noble, nauseated while holding out his arm. A perfect gentleman nonetheless. Do not fret, Throlar. She poked him with his elbow. Enjoy the view as long as you want, but I am more than capable of defending myself and your noble corporeal form. 2 assassins withdrew already as they saw me. What? How? Why do you know this? Asked the flabbergasted man. Because I drink, I know things, and I have eyes. She poked him again and let him feel a bit of her strength. Hey, eyes up. There are other noble ladies. Do not disappoint them. Alfara had her 3rd assignment with the noble Throlar during a contractual meeting. I solemnly swear. See the Game of Thrones reference hiding in there. Listen, every time I see one of Crazy Eddie's articles, I see like some silly little references thrown in here and there, and they're always wonderful. And there we go. That concludes this article. Once again, for anyone who has missed the link, here it is. Go share some love. Go hang out. It's very, very important. Very important that we let everybody know how much we love their articles. Bits and bops for your enjoyment. Yes, good. Y'all write the most epic stuff. It's true. I mean, you can listen to it already, but I will redo it slightly later this week. I don't know what your stance is on the whole thing of reading stuff before judging at the end. Yeah, I mean, different people have a lot of different approaches. I know some people who are already reading for their prompts. I just don't like reading the articles before the event is over because I know there are a lot of people like myself who are most certainly not finished with their articles in any capacity, and so I feel like it is only fair to give everyone the full month to finalize their entries before I actually get around to reading them. And if I read them like now, they're not going to be fresh when I get to them later, so it might have like less impact on me, you know? So I need the fresh read in order to give everyone a fair shot. Yes, I've been avoiding them all. Yeah, see, Mochi knows. Mochi gets it. Let me take a little sippy. Who shall we read next? All right. Those two nerds. With another organization article. How's this? Nysora United. Let me just grab this little linky link. I've stopped looking at my notices. Yeah. I mean, I have so many notifications, and I'm like, am I gonna be able to read all of these? I don't know. I'm going to write up some personal criteria and that stuff before the first. Been putting that off so much. Yeah, I also thought about making an article about it. When you judge your prompt, I advise you have some handkerchiefs ready. It's a bit bittersweet at the end of my article. Oh, you guys can't be doing this to me. You can't be giving me feelings. Although you can, and I do recommend it because feelings are fun. But here's a link to the article we're about to read. This is Nysora United by Rin, aka Those Two Nerds. Even just to have a criteria for myself, but that's effort. Oh, true. Very true. Ooh, and I do want to say, Moonlight Bard, I know you said you have an article for me, but you didn't give me a link. Which is okay, I could go digging for it, but if you would like to grab that for me, like, right now, that'd be perfect, and just, like, shoot the message to me in Discord or even in the chat, that's totally fine. Good night, Panda! Have a wonderful, wonderful night! Get that good sleep so you can not perish during work. I have been sucking at that recently. I love WoW, that's a lot of stars. Yes, absolutely. Oh, gee, can we tell how brain fried I am? It's okay. We're all there with you, I'm sure. Melissa plays RPGs, I'm late, but I'm here with coffee. Welcome, welcome. We did already read your article, and it was a wonderful read. So thank you for submitting it, but I'm glad you're here now. Yes, here we go. We have from the world. Wow, that's a lot of stars. Which, I love that name, by the way. It's so good. I know I've read, like, an article from this world basically every single week, but I decided I'd finally make a comment about the name now. Here we go. Nysora United. This is another organization for whom recruiting and proselytizing is important. Nysora United is a workers' rights union headquartered in Galendra on Nysora. Their focus is improving factory working conditions for Nysoran residents, leaving off-world and migrant workers to fend for themselves. They had gained significant ground prior to allegations that their spokesman, Christos Regime, murdered his niece. Though this has been disproven, the union continues to be in disarray. We have the sick, we have the cool fist logo. With the slogan, help each other to help ourselves. History. Workers' rights unions have been long ineffective on Nysora. Predictably, a populace known for being anti-authority hasn't had interest in promoting safety regulations. For many residents, it's been simpler to quit the offending job and find a new one rather than force businesses to comply with higher standards than required. However, many migrants, refugees, and other off-worlders are willing to accept abysmal working conditions in exchange for quick pay and no questions asked. With this large workforce lowering acceptable standards, resident workers are finding their bargaining power greatly diminished. This is the environment Nysora United has risen in. The group focuses on recruiting factory workers who have long suffered with massive and aging machinery known for severing limbs and crushing bodies. Their posters get plastered everywhere and their public town halls can be heard a block away. Yeah, worker solidarity. Here we go. I threw it into Discord. That's not confused what we're looking at right now. Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah, yay for the unions. Getting the work done. Or I guess we haven't gotten to the part where it says whether or not they're successful or yet. I think I butchered that entire sentence, but we get the idea. we know what I meant, probably. But we dive into controversies right off the bat. While the union has unprecedented support among residents, it still has many detractors as it faces an uphill battle. The corporations on the other side of the bargaining table, Apex and Integral in particular, find ways to disrupt their meetings and trick them into bad publicity. There are two angles in particular that have severely weakened the union's standing. Xenophobia. The number one issue many people have with the union is that it's only concerned with the rights of resident Nisoran workers. For some, it's a concern of equality. For others, it is a fear that corporations will stop hiring residents entirely to avoid dealing with the union. I am a certified union educator and trained union organizer. There you go. So this is the article for you then. Christos Rajim, union spokesman and lifelong machinist, explains the exclusion of migrant workers as necessary to get the group off the ground. While migrant workers can fill entry-level positions, only residents have worked with these machines in these factories for long enough to become foremen and line managers. He has also argued that unions' demands such as safer working conditions will benefit all regardless of residency status. Murder allegations. Ooh. Far more disastrous have been recent murder allegations against Rajim. His own sister flew in from Livonia to accuse him of murdering her daughter, his niece. She was left in his care after leaving Livonia 2 years ago and, per the allegation, went missing sometime last year. Rajim was spoken as spokesman not for his charisma but for his stable character and stoic reputation. The murder allegations shattered union members' belief in him, and along with rising chaos and violence in the city, broke much of their resolve. Even when his niece herself appeared to prove allegations wrong, the damage had already been done. And so, the current status. This is a developing situation as half of Galendria is currently in flames and death tolls are increasing by the hour. The fate of the city, the planet, and the unions rests on the Gal Pals. Who are the Gal Pals? Oh goodness. Looks like I have more to add to my reading list. Don't mind me, I'm just like adjusting my screen here. I need to know about the Gal Pals. Well, let's see, this link. That's just an image. I want to know about the Gal Pals. Tell me more about the gals being pals. Alright, but let's see. Information here. Demands. Improved safety. Immediate removal of equipment involved in a death or dismemberment. All safety and repair concerns addressed within a week. Twice yearly quality reviews of all factory equipment. As well as time off. 1 day off every consecutive 10 days of work. Limit standard working days to 10 hours. 30-minute breaks for every 5 hours of work. And fair pay. Annual pay increase based on inflation and merit. Time and a half for all overtime hours, and 5 paid sick days per year plus compensation for work-related injury. There's a draft for Gal Pals, just checked. Ooh! We'll get to find out about the Gal Pals soon. Perhaps even during SummerCamp. I can't make those promises. I'm not the author of this. I can't be getting people's hopes up, but allegedly there is a draft for the Gal Pals. So here you go, everyone. Here's that link once again. So you may take it, use it, love it, do whatever you wish with it. Maybe leave some comments asking about the Gal Pals, because we are all ready for it. Let's see. Let me grab this fresh article from my inbox and pop it in here. Let's see. I have to add it to my list proper so I don't forget about it later.
Refresh yourselves.
Ah, hold on. Sippies. Ah, thank you. I require the sips. They're very important. Oh, and let's see. Ooh. It is a good thing that you have sent me this article too, because I think it is for the prompt that we were missing from our list entirely for this week. Yes, indeed. So we have some representation here this week for every single prompt except for one. All except one. Which is pretty good. It means we have a wide breadth of things. And it seems like that is the building or landmark used for or associated with communication. So prompt 38. I didn't do that one either, so I totally get it. Well, let's see, Storm Girl popped in while I was doing my little typings. Hello, welcome! And sleep is more important than silly shenanigans, no worries. It's still barely written. Oh, it's all good. Listen, I'm not gonna make anyone send anything that they're not like excited about. We don't need to get every single prompt in here for this to be a successful reading stream. No. If you have sent me your favorite and it is indeed your favorite, you don't need to change up your submission. Let's see. We are going to continue down this list. Ooh, and we have an article from Mochi. Let's get this in here. Look at this. This giraffe is not the subject of this article, but we love to see the giraffe anyway. Quick, guys, write 300 words of a building and throw it at line. Oh no. Listen, if you have not already sent me an article and you have a building that you would like to share, you're more than welcome to. That is perfectly acceptable. But we already have quite a few articles on our list now. Writing my building tonight. I'll be the bar where the rebellion was founded. Ooh. But no, okay, let me put this link in here for everyone. Bum, bum, bum. We are reading about the glamorous peafowl. Look at this beautiful, beautiful creature. Oh, an article, a link. I will tuck that away. If we have time, I shall read it. I need to redo that art. Oh no! But he's such a cutie! And he's so glamorous. Look at that pose. He's like... model pose right there. But yes, the glamorous peafowl. We all know I can't resist a good bird article. We started our stream today with a bird article, and now we have another one. So good. So good. Yes, some of the most bright and colorful critters from planet Osao, a glamorous peafowl, are one of the many free-range animals. You can find them in the theropod sector too, alongside several other animals from Osao and a number of avians and dinosaurs. Anatomy. Glamorous peafowl have the typical anatomy of a bird in their genus. They are on the larger size in their family, standing at 3 feet tall when relaxed. They have an unmistakable plumage, their entire body hosting bright teal feathers. Their backs are lined with small green stripes, more prominent in females than males. Feather train. Easily the center of attention for these birds are their tail feathers, known as a train. There are two main trains. The front train contains stiff, wiry feathers used solely for display. The bottom train contains darker blue feathers, which are softer and used to keep the front train clean as it gets dragged along the forest floors. Glamorous peafowl also have a number of other feathers around their trains. Both males and females have large green feathers extending from behind both trains, used mostly to communicate with conspecifics. Males have stiff extending yellow feathers between both trains and are also used to communicate, with the position of the feathers indicating their moods. I use the word train so much, that's okay. And con species, others of a species. Oh, that is a word that I didn't know before. But yes, again, we have this lovely little guy right here. And this is the Pavolepidus, home planet Osau, average height of 3 feet and average tail feather length of 5 feet. They live about 8 years in the wild and 14 years in captivity. I'll throw this in here as well. This is my communication building, but throw that in only if you want, after everyone had theirs read. The other one I sent is the one I like more. Yes. Yes, good. We will see how much time we have. So I think I'm going through these pretty slowly, but I don't know. It depends on the size of the articles. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, so you never really know how long it's going to take to get through the whole list. Let's see this quote. Why does that damn bird keep turning its head and looking the other direction every time I try to take a picture? And why can't I get its beautiful purple feather to show up on my photos? I need to share him with everyone. Amelie said this. Ooh. I love little friend features. Behavior, communication. Considerably intelligent species, a glamorous peafowl. I took the A from the beginning of that sentence and then put it into the middle of the sentence for some reason. A considerably intelligent species, glamorous peafowl have several interesting methods of communication. Their simplest form of communication comes as their vocals. Glamorous peafowl only vocalize either when stressed. They are a diurnal species and abruptly wake up in the mornings, always waking up in a grumpy mood. Me too, bird. To relieve said stress, they climb into trees and scream for around 10 minutes. Also me. Am I a glamorous peafowl? It's more likely than you think. Hey, you wake up grumpy, you get into a tree, and you scream for 10 minutes, and that is how you start your day off right. Dawn screams. Yes. They have little antenna feathers. These peafowl use their antenna feathers to express their emotions. A happy and content peafowl will curl their antenna forwards, and when scared they will curl the opposite direction. When these birds feel threatened, their antenna feathers will straighten, pointing upwards. If you're the reason the bird feels threatened, the best thing to do is give it some distance or walk away entirely. And train display. To communicate with conspecifics, peafowl use their train. They're capable of altering the visible coloration of some of the feathers in their front trains as they contain chromatophores. It takes a couple of seconds for the peafowl to change its feather colors. We have signs posted around the theropod sector too, detailing some emotion these birds feel to teach visitors how to correctly behave around them. And so we have little list. Chromatophores. For red is anger and stress. Yellow for intrigue and curiosity. Black for unconsciousness and death. Ooh. Blue for loneliness and sadness. And white for when they're scared. And diet and feeding habits. Glamorous peafowl are omnivorous, with a wide diet in their native range. Death is now an emotion. It's true. You ever just walk around saying, "Oh man, I feel like death"? There you go. Get your like best black outfit on. Go goth, and then you feel like death, and now everybody knows it. That is why I wear black so often. Let's see, they have been recorded eating seeds, nuts, fruit fallen from trees or from low-growing bushes, insects and other small invertebrates, crustaceans, cephalopods, and even tiny reptiles and amphibians. In the A to Zoo, we provide a rich diet for our peafowl. You'll notice small troughs hidden in the corners of the sector containing vitamils, specialist bird feed from the Osauan company we sponsor. We ask that visitors do not give wandering peafowls any food. You may disrupt some strict feeding guidelines for any peafowl that might be on medication, which could be fatal. Oh, poor babies. Let's get this, Did you know? We are legally required to let our glamorous peafowl roam free. They are confined to just one sector, but we must let them wander about. We try our best to keep them from wandering into enclosures by having netting over the dangerous animals, but you'll find the peafowl in some of our smaller animal enclosures. Yeah, they're just hanging out. They're just living their best life out there. Habitat and distribution. Glamorous peafowl live in one location on Osao, the Blubber Dun. Ooh. This massive region is just one incredibly smooth hill, comprised of several layers of squishy soil that make it a joy to run around on. Peafowl are mostly terrestrial, choosing to wander along the ground floor of the forests of the Dun. And this is the state bird of Blubber Dun. Each region on Osao has a state bird. Blubber Dun's state bird is the glamorous peafowl, of course, a resplendent bird. A male peacock features on the region's flag, along with a green and white background. The bird is one of the most famous on the planet, and easily one of the most recognizable. This article is brought to you by Dave. Please rate your interactions with the zookeeper. This is a solid 5 out of 5. And I also give the article, like... Dave. Yes. Mochi, thank you for making us so many wonderful species and things to read about. That's like, not just today, like just in general. Here's the link once again for anyone who missed it. I love reading about your creatures. I was not expecting the rating thing to be interactive. Yes. So I have to ask, does the rating system, like, does it do anything besides give you a little... Besides just kind of do this? I assume it's just a visual thing, right? But it brings me joy. Doesn't do anything, but I wish it did. Yeah. I don't know, I love clicking on it. But okay, so... Based off of the chromatophores that we have, is it fair to say that anyone who rates 1 star receives death? And for anyone that gives 2 stars, it is you bestow anger and stress. We'll need something for orange. But 4 stars, intrigue and curiosity, for sure. But we need green. We don't have a green option. Maybe green is for happy. Green is for delight. For the 5-star ranking. There you go. We've made a system. The ranking system is based off of the glamorous peafowl chromatophore system. Didn't include any chromatophores for happy burbs. Well, there you go. Now is another idea that you can add to your article. Green is a very good color. I do like green. Let's see. Who is our next victim? Ooh. Stormbrill. Because you have also sent me a species with a unusual form of communication. So here we go. Off onto this wonderful little adventure. Thank you all for the likes. You deserve all that like and more. Time for fishies. Brace for CSS magic. Oh, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea the wonders that are in this article. And I shall be showing them to you here in a moment. Here you go. Here's the link to this article if you want to read ahead, but I had to take my sippies after that last article. All right. So today we are featuring Stormbrill's mirrorhead trout. River Artesia's flashiest species. Ooh, you have little buttons for patrons. Very, very fancy. Here we go. We have these lovely little fishies right here, first of all. And to quote, I caught one this big. I don't know how big this is, but I'm just guessing. And it's from a Kagano local, age 11. Within a wide, deep length of Artesia's largest river is a species of fish known primarily for their incredibly reflective scales. Mirrorhead trout are abundant within the waters of River Artesia, making their home in the wide, deep lake section known as the Deep Bend. living most of their life close enough to the surface for the light of the sun to catch and dance off their mirror-like scales. They're known to often put up a dazzling light shows as fish swim in distinct patterns reflecting rays of sunlight in specific timings and methods in order to attract mates or small prey, warn off impending danger, or even distract predators. So they're shiny fish. Visual delight. Mirrorhead trout are one of the most common fish found within the deep bend, and are visually distinct from the rest of the fish found in that portion of the lake thanks to their incredibly reflective appearance. These fish grow to be about 50 or 60 centimeters in length, and for most of their adult lives, their shiny scales appear as soft purple or dark pink color. During their fry or adolescent stages, these colors are generally a bit darker, and their scales not as reflective. It's thought this helps the young and still developing fish keep a low profile during these early stages. After a full year of development, once it reaches adulthood, the trout's scales grow magnitudes more lustrous. The most reflective portion of the fish is found upon the top of their head, as well as along the lateral line, a horizontal line that runs lengthwise about 2/3 of the way down from the top of the fish. Here, the scales are most likely to catch light and reflect it back in a dazzling display to their fellow fish. Other parts of a mirrorhead trout's body are highly reflective as well. However, the tips of their fins all have a hard and shiny bit of cartilage that isn't quite as shiny as their famous scales, but still manages to catch and spread light in a pleasing way. Their soft underbellies are mostly non-reflective, with a much thinner type of scale covering that portion of their body. It gets downright blinding upstream during the mirrorhead spawning season. Thousands of fish wriggling their way up that shallow, rocky creek on an especially bright day. It's like staring into the surface of the sun. Quote from a deep bend fisherman. Let's see what's over here in the sidebar. Lifespan is about 10 to 20 years. Incubation 4 to 6 weeks. Average length of 50 to 60 cm. Average weight 2 to 7 pounds. Estimated population of around 250,000, but rapidly dwindling. Oh no! Do not kill my lovely little shiny fish. I've only had them for about 4 minutes. River Artesia, a massive glacier-fed river that runs from Artesia's central mountains to its western coast, home to a large variety of fish, mammals, and amphibians. The deep bend, the lake portion of River Artesia that the mirrorhead trout call home, is thought to be one of the deepest lakes anywhere within Cathedras. Countless rumors are told of strange and mythical beasts, ancient shipwrecks, and forgotten cities existing within the depths. Yeah, Stormbolt, you can't just be killing these lovely little fishies that you've just handed me. I love his little face. Me too! Look at him. Kinda looks like he's smiling a little bit, Don't use the evil face in here. But the dance of light. Magnificent scales of a mirrorhead trout are used for a variety of behavioral purposes. For example, by swimming through a series of intricate movements, adult mirrorheads are often seen attempting to attract a mate while in their ancestral spawning grounds of shallow gravel-bed creeks found pouring into the deep bend. It is one of the less deadlier species of Cathedras. We don't know that. We don't know that. It is too soon to say. These reflective fish have other various movements they use to communicate certain things as well, often seen on a daily basis during a mirrorhead's adult life within the lake. Much of their day is spent to feeding or hunting their prey, small invertebrates or crustaceans that also reside in the lake. These are hunted by the mirrorhead through what is called hypnotic flashing. The fish will swim in tight concentric loops, attracting small prey towards the spiraling light and luring them into a daze, allowing for what is most often rapid and easy capture. Should one of the fish feel they are being threatened by another, larger predator, however, they will employ an entirely different set of movements. By swimming in rapid S-curves perpendicular to the predator chasing them, it's thought that the blinking light make the predator lose track of the mirrorhead. This also serves the dual purpose of warning any other fellow mirrorhead trout of the impending danger, signaling that it is time to retreat from the area. And now, we see this. Click the buttons to see how the mirrorheads communicate. Zigzag to avoid the trouble, exactly. But we can see how a mirrorhead trout attracts. Ooh, swimmies. And hunt. Ooh, just loop-de-loop-de-loop-de-loop. And to distract. Yeah. These are so good. The fish spin. So our little feat of CSS here is fishy swim. And I love this. I would also be extremely distracted if a fish was swimming away from me in that pattern. And they have their little mating dance. So you press these little buttons and then they go. I love it. You could just you could play with this forever. But wait, there's still more content. The ecosystem. Every year there's less of them. They're getting harder to catch and the creeks just don't shine quite the way I remember they used to when I was a kid. That's pure CSS, no JavaScript on the buttons. Pure CSS. I don't think we're allowed to use JavaScript, really. Probably. If you can, that's like a really, really high up kind of thing. But yes, there are some amazing things that you can do with CSS. Sages can, but not us mortals. I figure it's all CSS. 'Tis my assumption. I don't know how to work the wizardry myself, so I can't confirm. Even sages don't have... yeah. So yeah, there you go. All CSS, all the time. Or no apostrophes, apologies. Don't worry about it. It's all good. There we go. As the current dominant species of fish within the deep bend, muirhead trout play a vital role in their environment. As predators, they manage to keep the population species considered pests by many under control, such as insect larvae and crustaceans that are edible to humans. As prey, they manage to be an abundant and readily available food source for things such as bears and river palostras that like to feed on the shiny fish. They're also incredibly important to the humans that call the area their home. The main staple food of all villages and cities that live on or near the deep bend is fish, and the main fish that is always eaten are the muirhead trout. They're described to have clean and fresh taste. When it's light, it manages to hold and combine with almost any seasoning delightfully. I need to take a sippy after that one. Ooh. I'm a professional reader, don't mind me. However, their popularity is part of their own downfall. While overfishing isn't entirely to blame for their rapidly dwindling numbers, it certainly plays a huge part. Years ago, the Eurasian government never considered setting catch limits to priority for muirheads. There were so many, it was assumed that humans would never make an impact on them. However, these days there's a limit of 2 fish caught per day, up to a monthly maximum of 50 per season. See, I'm self-taught at CSS, which means some things I just missed. Yeah, me too. Everything I've ever learned about CSS, I just kind of bumbled through myself. Through searching tutorials, searching through the CSS help channel. I do my best. Yes, competition. Overfishing plays a part in the depletion of muirhead trout population, but the main impact is thought to be due to an invasive species that has quickly been taking over the deep bend. Called a mudstell, the seemingly endless reproducing invasive fish is originally from Cascalan, but has made itself a new home in Artesia thanks to a misguided attempt at introducing a new predator to help balance the ecosystem more. Dang it. These invasive fish are taking away my shinies. And there you go. That is the end of this article about shiny fishies who like to dance. A very, very wonderful little article. The fish illustrations are fantastic. Yes, I love them. I love this little face. Let me see if I can just, oh, he's not large enough to just go full zoom. If I zoom the page, oh, make him big. I love this little guy. Something about his expression just... It fills me with like this deep-seated glee. But yes, wonderful. I shall share with you once again. Once again, this link. Here you go. Do with it what you will. Go visit. Go pet the fishies. And I will just have my little sips. Ah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, who is next? Who shall we read about today? Let's see. We shall pick our next. I'm staring at my list, don't mind me. Okay, we shall look at this. This next article on our list. Ooh, struggling, hold on, oh my gosh. Moving around tabs is hard. And so this is going to be an article about a character who excels in manipulating others. And this is by Static Star, and it is Teo Patchfur. I leave you with this little GIF twirling on your screen. Oh, wait, I know this article. Oh. And this is where we shall be. I mean, with an appearance like that, I'm already manipulated. So... here we go. Teo Patchfur. And so it begins, the great rolling and screaming. I am mustard incarnate! I crave chaos! Mother, relinquish me from my divine imprisonment swing. A quote from Teo. No one quite understands where the rolling yellow ball of destruction and doom originated from, not even his own mother, Igni. Much like his brother, Clamato, he mysteriously appeared when Igni and her friends woke up from a night of slumber. His presence was immediately discovered via the screams of pain from Demetrius, as the rolling mustard sphere had begun eating some of his cornrows. While his appearance and birth remain a mystery, it is quite obvious what Teo demands, no, requires. He's an agent of chaos and manipulation, and he'll stop at nothing to achieve his goal. It's like an anime mascot, yeah! That dragon image must have taken quite a few tries. Midjourney is terrible at making dragons. And this one up here. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I don't even know where that image is from. Let's see, where... do you have credit? Oh, it actually is by Midjourney. So yeah, must have taken some trial and error. Don't mind me just like scrolling around. So, physical description. Teo exists as a rolling yellow ball. Closer inspection of his flesh reveals it to be actually a combination of tomato skin and minotaur hide, leaving a smooth, leathery sense of touch to whoever may have contact with him. His body weight is supported by 4 nub-like arms on the center underside of his body. A collection of facial features, including a pair of eyes, snout and mouth, and teeth, are present along the front end of his body. Brown stripes along his top half and near his eyes are similar in appearance to stripes of the tiger felinin, though no relation between the two actually exists. So is another creature in the world. Several of Teo's features actually denote him as a cow or minotaur-adjacent creature. Complementing his facial appearance are a duo of cow ears and a pair of curved bull horns. A small patch of dried bush leaf at the center of his head acts as his hair, though it is dry and prone to cracking when touched. A small furry tail that covers his butt protrudes from the end opposite to his face. Here we go, turning up the charm. Teo was born with the ability to speak both common and Sylvan languages, unlike his brother. This gives him the unfair advantage of being able to communicate with not only with Fae beings, but also with normal society. A truly horrendous fate for any man who comes across the spherical unit of demolition. Amongst the confines of Igni and her party, Teo's manipulative ability is minimized because of how well the party understands he thinks and plans his next move. But when met with a simpleton or unaware bystander who makes his foolish decision to interact with him, Tio's power knows little boundaries. Multilingual advantage, exactly. That was the topic of one of the recent streams on WorldAnvil, actually. So, the unexpected benefit of being multilingual in this case is being able to act as an agent of chaos to more people. First, he strikes by pitching his voice to imitate that of a human toddler. Once that sucks the unaware bystander into his grasp, Tio gives a cow puppy eye look, draining his facial expression of all deviance, malice, and malevolence, replacing it with the confusion, misunderstanding, and naivete of a lost baby. At this point, the battle is already lost for the poor soul handling Tio. You're really pretty, miss. Not as pretty as my mommy, though. But you might be able to be even more pretty if you go and rob the makeup store. If you do, can I please have some gum and candy, too? Tio swabbing on a poor woman who doesn't know. Truly a monster, capable of waging wars and razing lands, leaving nothing left alive. Who can stop this madness but his mother, who dares put him in the confines of the baby swing? No, mother! Not the swing again! I'll behave! No! Haha, get swinged, idiot. Oh my god. I love that. And I love this header here, the crimes of Tio. Just get one of my favorite gifs and like just memes on the internet is the shark, like the shark approaching a diver and then the diver just kind of like rotates them around to go away and it's just like it stops and it's like, get rotated, idiot. That's my favorite thing. And so just get swinged, idiot. That really gets me. But the crimes of Tio. Below is a list of assorted crimes and misdemeanors committed by the rambunctious fruit. 1. Ignored his bedtime. 2. Pooped on Grampy Lump's bed. 3. Multiple acts of tossing his older brother like a dodgeball. And 4. Multiple disturbing of the peace via means of existence. All charges were dropped in a Court of Defense Force 12 law on account of how Tio refused his court date. He somehow convinced a traveling merchant to slip him into his cargo hold and subsequently took a cross-continent trip across Chromaticos. Come on, mister, I want to see the world. This prison can't hold me any longer. Free me from this swing and take me on the pilgrimage I deserve. Only returning one day later when he realized he was homesick, he convinced the same merchant to turn around despite being over 100 miles away already. I miss my mom, I miss Grampy, I miss my brother and uncle, I want to go home. Oh, poor boy. Tio may be the physical incarnation of chaos itself, but at heart he's still an innocent and young creature. While he thinks he understands the depths of complex decisions like leaving home, not keeping himself clean, or manipulating others into sometimes dangerous tasks, the level of emotional intelligence has not developed. He lacks the capability of considering consequences to his actions. All he thinks of are the immediate benefits to him and how the decision will allow him more freedom, more food, etc. There's no level of maturity behind its eyes, merely the wishful thinking of a child that doesn't know better. He cries when he's lonely, gets upset when he hasn't had food or nap time. Even when he convinces one of Defense Force 12's into a potentially threatening situation, he doesn't want to see them get seriously hurt. When the failed joint group escort operation resulted in the death of Demetrius, Tio spent a full day crying over his lost friend, even refusing to eat for a time in his grief. Deep inside that sphere-shaped exterior lies an extensive amount of love for people who see him as family. While he wants the best for himself, he also wants to see them succeed so long as they do his bidding. Master manipulator or not, he's still a child at heart. Pure, uncorrupted by true hate, and capable of loving anyone. The Defense Force is lucky to have him with them, but he's even luckier to have a group like them as his family. Oh, so wholesome. So wholesome even when he's bent on destroying the world with chaos. And so his alignment is chaotic tomato, and his current status is trying to eat Demetrius' cornrows and sow the seeds of chaos. He is 1 year old. And Igni Patchfur is Mama. His presentation is spherical. His little squinty black beads for eyes, mustard yellow fur / tomato skin. He's only 1 foot tall and weighs 5 pounds. Oh, and so you got all these little articles in the sidebar here for meeting the family. So you can meet the team, you can meet the adopted family, and you can meet Mama. Right here. And so yes, this was a very heartwarming ending to this article. Very sweet. He's just a baby. He's just a baby and he doesn't know any better. Poor little creature. Let's see, who's next on our list? Aha. We have here an article from ECC Books. Woohoo! So let's yank this over here and pop it into this tab. Hold on, I have to send a little message real quick. Because I noticed that you've all been menaces as requested. Dropping the likes in the comments. Maybe some comments. Did I see comments there? Getting to knock things off my list, heck yeah. That is the wonder of having these little reading streams, is I get to help people knock off their notifications. I had Blue Anvil opportunities I did not take earlier. Oh no. But yeah, here we go. We are reading today about the 7 wonders of the post-apocalyptic world. Here you go. There's the link to that. Prompt number 37. So this is our little document, I believe. Probably. Yes, most likely. So yes. I'm not in Chris's stream where I let the blue anvil fly. Ones. But the 7 wonders of the post-apocalyptic world is a list of notable Edenian structures and natural features compiled by Louis the Mapmaker in the First Age. Oh, and what has happened here? Dream Cartographer, thank you for following. I still haven't figured why this article was Blue Anvil. I don't know. I cannot say. Here we go. First published as a pamphlet in the Embershire, the list was soon posted to the EdenNet and published in newspapers across the world. And for over 1,000 years now, the list has remained unchanged and rarely challenged. Am I muted? Oh no. Did stream break? I can hear you? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. So I guess it's on their end. Good. Little scares. A little worried. Might need a little refresh then for Dream Cartographer. Okay. Louis' original handwritten draft, taken from her journals, hangs in a place of honor inside the Edenian Athenaeum. Oh. Alright, gotta sit up a little straighter. Stop being a little shrimp. But here is the list. Louis' list, as published in the original pamphlet, reads as follows: the Sisters' Gate, the Unfalls, Tiri's Tower, the Melancholy Mountains, the Edenian Athenaeum, Dukuhuo, Aoki, the Mother Volcano, and the Church of the Crownless. Ooh, and these are all articles that you can also go read at another time. All these wonderful bits of extra delicious lore and content. And so we have the backstory. By the time she compiled the list in 76 CE, the 33-year-old halfling was already the most famous adventurer and explorer in the world. Because of this, she was asked constantly for a list of the most amazing of the amazing things she'd seen. Aside from the final draft, which hangs in the Athenaeum, Several pages of her journal from that year contain alternate lists and a catalog of runners-up. These almost, but not quite, include the Tyrant's Tomb, the Fountain of Ink, the Forge of the Forgotten, the Salt Gate, the Quivering Castle, the Bay of Clocks, and the Circle of the Four Winds. Because of the love Edenians feel for Lue, whose life was tragically cut short by Stagnacad the Defiler, her rankings have remained unchanged for more than a millennium. Though some joke about the favoritism involved in her inclusion of the Edenian Athenaeum, of which she was a founding director, even that landmark is regarded as so remarkable that few have ever seriously challenged its place on the list. And though the Neverlanders think their famous beanstalk should replace the artificial tower built by Tiri Nergard, even they only bring up the contention amongst themselves. The beanstalk didn't exist when Lue made the list, after all, so how could she have included it? Sorry, my headphones muted everything for no reason. Those darn headphones. They're always doing that. Sometimes I get that when my headset just kind of dies and I didn't notice. I'm like, why is my audio not working? And so there you go. You have a list of remarkable wonders from the world. And I think it's really cute. I think it's really sweet that they just refuse to challenge it or change it ever since she was lost. It's like, nope, this is set in stone. This is the truth. We will respect it forever. Yeah, it's really sweet. And I'll have to go poke through a lot of these other wonders of the world. Very fun. Seven wonders. Thank you. Oh, thank you. You are so very welcome. I don't get to read enough of your work, unfortunately. Just with the way that things happen. Life happens. That's the topic of WorldAnvil's stream tomorrow. It's how to keep doing stuff when life happens. I need to take that advice, but I'm also like a prime example of what it is like to continue working even when life happens. Oh, life happens. Life happens way too much, I would argue. But here you go, everybody. Here's that link for everyone once again to this article that we have just consumed. So where are we now on this list? Aha! Article from Ninodon Lord. Let us go. We shall gather this. So we collect this article. Bam. The Lord's Calling. Take my little post-article sippies. It's you! Speaking of life, I'm jealous of those whose life is putting them in New York City tomorrow. I know there are a couple of you in here. I am indeed one of them. I will be at the New York City meetup tomorrow. I kind of stumbled on that one because I didn't... It's Friday. It is indeed Friday. It is the end of the week. So my brain had a little... Are you guys able to hear that outside? I hope not. ECC Books plans to be there. Yes. Oh, we can't hear it. Okay, good. We're having the same deal as like 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's mowing outside, and I hear it quite loudly. Nope, only my own outside. Whatever it is, I can't hear it. Wonderful, fantastic. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, life happens really way too much. Had 3 days of extreme burnout because everything happened all at once. So I'm glad I could finish summer camp yesterday. Yeah, congratulations on finishing summer camp, even when life is being life. Oh, Vazdamet's going. Ooh, I get to meet you. Yay! There's so many people in the little groups that I hang out with that I'm like, oh, everyone's so far away. I'll never get to meet any of these people. But no, sometimes things happen and the stars align. I get to meet the magnificent line. Oh no. I will be there in spirit. Yeah, we'll just We'll just we'll have Mochi on like a phone, just like tuned in, and so we'll just get to like carry Mochi around on video and just be like, "Hello, everyone," and there you go. You'll be part of the meetup. Still need to come to Europeline? I sure do. I absolutely do. And I would love to do that. It's just, you know, time and travel and schedules. These things cost time and money. Maybe in the future, if there's like a meetup that I'm particularly excited for, I might consider taking like a small vacation. But here we go. Here's the article that we are about to go read that is currently on our screen. This is The Lord's Calling by Nino. Getting more of that Tommy representation. Got that 7 tomes life going. So here we go. It seems like another little narrative adventure. So let me get my storytelling hat on. Have my little sippy ready. Alright. With the setting sun, the pressing heat that had been smothering Revad finally withdrew and allowed its inhabitants some breathing room again. Mesem pulled cloth covering from the window and removed the leather awning to allow it in the cooling air. As he did, he noted the sand that had piled up and retrieved a brush to remove it. His peers were often complaining that they were getting too old to continue doing chores like this for their families, but Mesem did not mind doing them. He loved his mother, and any work he could do to lessen the burden of keeping a full house stocked and running in a large city like Revad was well worth the hassle. Plus, he was no longer in his teens, where he would have rebelled just for the sake of feeling out of the limits of his freedoms. After he had finished cleaning the sill, he placed back the lighter cloth, which would allow air to pass through the window. Finally, he took off the light veil that had been tied over his own eyes, and he studied his eyes in the polished metal mirror. His family was wealthier than most. From the reflective metal, a young man in his early 20s looked back with those deep green eyes that he had inherited from his mother's side. He briefly wondered if any of his friends had similar colored eyes. He then heard a shout coming from the house, calling him to dinner. His father and mother, as well as his younger sister, were already seated when he had arrived, and his mother began to mix through all the grilled rice, and his father was cutting up the meat they could afford to serve with it. "Did you open the windows?" his mother asked before he had even sat down. "We need to cool down the house before next sunrise." "Already done, mother," he replied, while grabbing rice from the communal bowl and placing it in his own. After his father had distributed the meat, they began to eat, and for a while, the room was filled with gluttonous silence. Mesem looked over to his sister, who seemed cross about something. Arya was 14 and had inherited her father's eyes and temper, which had blossomed into a fiery snark with the last few years. When they had sated their initial hunger, his father spoke with a raspy voice that came from working as a merchant on the square. "How's your training progressing, Mesem? Do you think you'll be able to take your test this summer?" Mesem tensed up, and he realized he had been too transparent because his mother piped up. "You need to work harder at it, Mesem. You're already 20 years old, and we need to hurry and find a desirable match. If you don't succeed this year, we may need to consider wedding you outside the guild network, as much as we want to avoid this possibility." Mesem had to force down a spike of anger at the veiled threat. It was true that he was behind in where his parents would have liked him to be, but not because of lack of effort on his part. He loved jewelry work, which was the profession he had been chosen for, and his master seemed to think him talented too. But finishing his apprenticeship meant being wed to a woman. How horrifying. And a new chapter in his life he felt entirely unready for. And so he had not given it his all, and the last 2 tests had been denied progress. The worst part about the situation, however, was not the pressure, but the fact that he understood where his parents were coming from. His father had become a full merchant later than most, and now that his first son was of age, already felt the gnawing tooth of time in his bones. Understanding his father's urgency did not help him at all, Mesem decided. Fortunately, he was spared a continuation of this conversation when a knocking came at the front door. Wait, where are we all meeting? New York or Indy? We're talking about New York City, so the picnic. It would have been really cool for me to go out to Gen Con, but that's unfortunately not something I'd had any time for, really. Let's see, glancing around the table before covering his eyes with the light veil, He gathered none of the others were expecting visitors either. He rose and his father followed so they could greet the visitors before getting his mother and sister if necessary. Approaching the door, he considered the oddness of such a late visit. With a creak, the front door swung open and Masem looked into uncovered eyes, causing him to almost recoil from shock. He caught himself in time, though, and uttered the expected greeting along with a deeper bow. "Greetings, my High Lord Aaron." Before him stood the most powerful man in Revat and the surrounding dunes. Aaron was a man of powerful build, years of military training chiseling a strong physique. Even if the Lord was not standing there with his grayish eyes exposed for all to see, Mesem would have thought him a nobleman. Behind the High Lord stood a contingent of 7 guards, each with an appropriate metal mask over their eyes, a thin slit allowing light to them. Lord Aaron did not wait for Mesem to continue and simply began speaking in a grave tone. "Your lord is calling to war. We will leave Revat in 3 days' time." Mesem's stomach dropped and he grabbed the doorframe for support. His father behind him spoke up, a tinge of unease barely audible in a sea of regret. "What is the cause, my lord?" Aaron seemed indignant at the request, but heeded the law and answered quickly. "The city of Aldab has rebelled. We will reconquer it to keep the peace." Behind him, Mesem heard a gasp. He turned to see his mother standing there, her hands covering her face. Then, as the realization seemed to hit her, she began wailing loudly and turned and ran from the entryway. Mesem wanted to follow, but forced himself to turn back to his liege to not insult him. With some effort, he uttered the words he was taught. "I pledge myself to the Lord's calling, of free will and in the face of the Dune Sea. I will join this campaign for my household and not desert it even in the face of death to ensure the survival of this great city." Satisfied, the High Lord nodded. "I thank you, citizen." He turned to leave, then briefly halted. "I'm sorry, boy. Tell your mother there was no other way." For the first time, Mesem thought to see a human element to what constituted the High Lord's being. Before another exchange of words could happen, the High Lord had turned away fully and marched his guards down the street, where he knocked on the next door. Mesem closed the door and turned to his father, who was removing his light veil already. He hesitated, then took Mesem's shoulders. The now exposed eyes were moist with too much water. "I will see to your mother." Only now Mesem realized he could still hear crying from the other room. Her mother had lost all 3 brothers during the last campaign. His father added, "I'm so proud of you, son. No matter what may happen, or if you are a jeweler, never forget it." Then he let go of Mesem and moved towards the sound of crying in the other room. When he was gone, Mesem sank to the floor, his back to the wall. He heard the door open again and saw Arya, who for the first time in a while did not show any signs of snark or sarcasm. His sister sat down next to him, and while she did not speak a word, the two understood. Mesem's head began emptying as he tried to sort through the onslaught of new information, sensations, and feelings. In the end, only 2 things remained: the sound of his mother's crying through the wall, and the wish the sun had stayed so his hands would stop shaking from what was surely the night's cold. Oh, it's so sad. It's such an interesting way to kind of to spin this prompt that's like it is an important address from one to many. And so it is the Lord delivering the news in person that they are going to war and taking recruits. It's very, very sad, very serious. I need to reread this. Too many stuff going outside my flat going on. There's more in there. The spoiler at the end. Wait, there's context on the Lord's calling. The Jadrian tradition. Gosh, I didn't even notice. In Jadrian culture, the Lord's decision on their oasis is paramount. They dictate most rules of the oasis so that survival in the harsh desert sun is possible. As a result, they also have the sole power to decide on matters of war for all their citizens. In response to this imbalance of power, a tradition developed. The Lord who declares war must visit each household in the oasis personally to deliver the call to arms. During this calling, the Lord must inform the household of reasons if they ask. Each household must contribute 1 able-bodied fighting man to the war cause. If none volunteer to do so, the family faces exile from the oasis, a death sentence to almost all. Yeah. So it's very tough and it's very difficult, but I feel like it's like a very honorable tradition there for the Lord to personally like be the face of this decision that has been made. Like they decided to take everyone to war, so they're the ones telling everyone and delivering the news themselves. I think that's really a really good way to go about that. Because I mean, no one wants that news anyway. Getting it from some rando probably feels even worse. So I take my little chapsticks. Wahoo. And so once again, link for everyone. I don't know why recently, but I got into writing tough and or sad stuff. Well, hey, sometimes that's just the energy that flows through the creative mind, you know? And I'll take a little moment to have my little sippies. And ponder all that we have just read. As we venture back to our list. And who do we have here? Up next, Emily. Hello, hello. Oh, I've clicked on the wrong thing. Oh no, where's my window? 'Tis the challenge. And here we go. We have this article from Amelie, Miss Royen. With some art as well. My initial thought is more the Lord also have to see the real consequences in his choices have. Very true. Yes, respect is another aspect of it, for sure. And here's a little link for everybody for this article. So I've already taken a little bit of a peek at this article. And I think it is formatted in a really cool way, just like presented in a cool format. And so, Miss Royan's new look. Gotta now do some cleaning. Hope everyone has a great day. Goodbye, Mochi! Have a wonderful, wonderful little productive cleaning day. And stuff I need to do. So I'm with you in spirit. Here we go. Miss Royan's new look. Written by Jean Long. Last weekend at the Senate's party, Miss Royan's yet again attracted all attention as she debuted her new look and undoubtedly made many jealous. Expect to see everyone in matching style by the end of the week, and hurry and follow suit if you don't want to look like a fool. Setting the trend. The season's greens and blues are in, reds are out. And wear your crinolines and hoops at your own risk. The new silhouette is clean and simple and pairs well with diaphanous materials. Perfect for Miss Royan's simple elegance. Relaxed hairstyle. Everyone is sure to sigh with relief that the new trend is going to spare us hours of styling. A loose bun circle with long, thin plaits that are left to fly down the back and highlight the length of the hair. Simple and elegant as usual for Our Lady. Still no betrothal ring. When will Miss Royan finally decide to tie the knot? It's not for the prospects that are missing for one of the most attractive parties in Nilani. Yet gossip is currently tying her to a nobody. Master Serenius de Coroy. No wonder her uncle is reluctant to allow the match. Old jewelry. Long time no see. This is some jewelry we've missed. But finally, silver, white, gold, and orichalcum are back in. Out with the gaudy gold. Back to some real style. At least for those of us who are not stupid enough to sell our soul and jewels for some flashy trend. Or those like Miss Royan who have enough for both and more. Caustic butterflies. It's rare to see Miss Royan follow a trend rather than set it. But the deadly demure symbol for sure suits her. Alone in her family, she prefers to stay away from politics and attract attention for witty repartee rather than for some dubious antics. Accompanying the insects are her usual flowers, a reminder of her creation during her botanic mastery and of her hidden skills. That lady has more brain than you'd expect. The only hindrance. That damn family of the lady will never be rid of. The House of Royan is sure doing its best to interfere with her good reputation. As if them having been the leader of the now illegal Dark Party was not enough, rumors abound. The current Lord Royan is the Dark Lord's own personal friend. Maybe it's no wonder Miss Royan is left with no choice but to associate with a nobody. And so there you go. That's your little tabloid article on Miss Royanne and the trends that she's setting. And the little bits of world building that you get to pick out of every little entry here, like what's in style, who her family is, and who they're aligned with. Different symbols in the world, like the caustic butterfly, the symbol, a carnivorous butterfly, fluttering. Oh, not for pranks, in all caps, so you know how serious it is. Yeah, this is a really fun way to like format an article and present all this information. And there's your little article from the Sun, essentially. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. And this is for the character who prefers to lurk in the shadows. Mine is incepting the words little and silly into my brain. She's going into my world building. Heck yeah. I don't know what it is. Every time I look at anything, I'm like, oh, look at this silly little button, silly little link, this silly little tidbit of information. I don't know. It's like breathing. I can't avoid using these words anymore. Oh, the big yawns. Look at these shinies. There's so many shinies. This place is just full of them. So let's see, who is next?
Refresh yourselves.
Oh, of course, the sippies. I almost forgot. Oh, very important. Very important to stay hydrated. And so let's see, who is next? It looks like we have another character article coming right up from Cat Chiron. So here we are. Cassius Roman, the Shadow Prince. So here you go. Let me get this little. It's a beautiful cup. Why, thank you. I think it's quite nice. It's like it's a little shiny. Little. I don't know. I got like a set of 2 of these for like $5. And so I'm pretty jazzed about that. Always out here looking for a bargain. Let's see, where was I? Sharing link. Here you go. This is the article that we are now about to go read. And here you go. The Shadow Prince, Cassius Xander Roman. Cassius Roman was banished from the overworld of Vervania about 1,000 years ago. Rumor has it he was very close to Garrick Thornwood back in the day, but they had a major falling out over something that has not been disclosed to the people of Vervania. It is also whispered that he still has links to Joseph Thornwood, who seems to have one foot in both the overworld and underworld. Cassius founded the Shadow Syndicate with 12 other banished vampire nobility. He is considered their leader and is also known as the Shadow Prince. The Shadow Prince title also stemmed from his shadowy nature, preferring not to associate with others apart from his important business and leadership matters. If he does not venture into the public domain, he is usually seen— if he does venture into the public domain, he is usually seen wearing a mask. It is suggested this is to hide a burn scar. If this is true, no one seems to know how he received it. So it's a mystery. We got like kind of a little Phantom of the Opera kind of situation going on here. Dude just doesn't go outside. He wears a mask to cover his hideous, hideous face. Allegedly. Allegedly. None of this is confirmed. This guy's big. He's 6'4". It's pretty good. Let's see. He is also an expert mind controller who has been seen to use this talent to make even the most heinous of creatures do his bidding. And to add to his many talents, he is also a powerful glamorizer who allegedly seduced an important vampire noble by making them think they were with their mate. He is almost always seen wearing a fedora, which is thought to have magical properties. Could this be what increases his mind control and glamorizing powers? It is generally thought that Cassius' ultimate aim is to overthrow Garrick and be the ruler of all of Ravania. But is this for revenge for his banishment, or is he just consumed by a need for more power? And surely he must have a weakness. It is thought he still pines for the noble vampire woman that he is rumored to have seduced. Maybe he even has an heir. Could this be his downfall? Woohoo. We always love an article that ends in questions and things that have yet to be answered. Because now I'm also wondering, like, does he have an heir? Could this be his downfall if it is true? What is this guy doing? What is his motive? What does he want? So many questions to be discovered. So there you have it. Oh my gosh, I need to stop yawning. I thought I got enough sleep last night, but clearly I'm wrong. I mean, that's kind of just always true. It's kind of just how I live my life. Imagine getting enough sleep. Wouldn't that simply be a dream? Let's see, where are we? Bum, 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 bum. So let us see, where are we? Got some things to check. Some things to look at. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so must take my sippies. And here we go. Oh, I almost knocked a plate off of my desk. That would be no good. So let's see, who is next on our list here? Oh, and wouldn't you know, it is Kitoipoi with Mr. Shadow. Interesting how we go from one shadowy character to another shadowy character. It me, it you. Indeedly-do. Mr. Shadow. Yeah, I remember opening this, or like, you know, like receiving this link and being like, wait, Mr. Shadow, I know that name. I know this character. And I finally get to learn more about this character. So he's super shadowy. He seems super shadowy. Stuck some RPG stuff at the end as an experiment. Let me know what you think. I shall indeed let you know. Once we get down there. So here you go, everybody. Here's that link to Mr. Shadow. Why is my stream manager freezing on me? Everything's okay with the stream side of things, right? It's not just it's just being a little testy with me on the internet side. We can hope. We can dream. Let's see. Oh. Hey, you guys let me know if things are breaking in the stream, because it feels like something is going wrong, maybe. Though I don't know. Everything's fine here? Okay, good. Because I'm watching my own stream, and so it's like, it is lagging for me, so I'm like, questionable, concerning. But no, if everything's fine, then we can just keep going. I'm perfect, and we will read about Mr. Shadow. So we begin with our quotes here. The reclusive Mr. Shadow is a permanent guest at Lola Carly's comfy kitchen. He lives in the private Datu hut on the tail of Kuabuaya. Buaya, yes. However, he comes out on karaoke night to sing with Lola Carly, and everyone loves his voice. When he sings Unforgiven Infinity, you can hear his bass all the way across the pit. The instructor of recruits. You better believe that I'm at the kitchen for karaoke night every week. I'd never miss it, and Mr. Shadow is one of my favorite singers. We've had a few drinks over the years, but I can't seem to remember what we talk about. All I know is that the first time I met him, I immediately went into a berserker rage. Fortunately, Lola Carly snapped me out of it, and I've been good ever since. I'm Sergeant Killflare. The mysterious Mr. Shadow lives in the Datu hut at Lola's comfy kitchen. He loves bibinka and fruity drinks and with umbrellas in them. He never eats balut. He's friendly when approached, but never seeks anyone out except for Lola Carly. No one who has had conversation with him can remember what they talked about. He loves karaoke night, which is held in the evening of every shadow. His bass can be heard from across the entirety of the pit and the zone. When he sings, all the spirits settle down to listen. What I've felt, what I've known, sick and tired, I stand alone. Could you be there because I'm the one who waits for you? Or are you unforgiven too? Metallica, the Unforgiven too. Ooh. So yeah, this is a guy who loves karaoke, and I respect that. We love to see it. And here's an extra on how to run Mr. Shadow from one of my one-shots. Meeting Mr. Shadow. On the patio you see a dark figure drinking from a hollowed-out pineapple with an umbrella in it. He wears shadows like a cloak, and looking at him for too long makes your eyes water. You feel like he's actually hundreds of feet, if not miles tall, and appears to be mortal-sized through some trick of forced perspective. As the party approaches, red eyes glow at them from underneath his hood. I've been waiting for you. This prison, my beloved home, is under assault, and I've seen that only you can help. He draws in a massive breath, but I remain myself. I cannot give what has not been earned. My knowledge must be claimed in karaoke combat. Mr. Shadow is an excellent singer specializing in soulful ballads to take advantage of his seismically deep voice. He loves songs like Do Be Cruel, Wound, Unforgiven, Infinity. Always Gonna Give You Up, and Old Gator River. Defeating him in karaoke combat requires a performance skill challenge, whereupon he will answer any of the player's suggestions. Suggested methods for skill challenge are single skill checks, a group average check, or beating a DC on 3 out of 5 attempts. Ask for the players to roleplay here and modify or adjust based on how much fun you're having. He knows everything that the DM knows. Yes, he knows that too. Mr. Shadow is actually more interested in a good showing, and rewards results as follows. Karaoke combat results. Under 7. Ejects the party from the kitchen and they all take 1d6 psychic damage. They meet Bunso Tuko immediately afterwards. 8 to 12. A valiant effort. Answers 1 question and then ignores them. 13 to 18. Excellent singing. Answers 2 questions and gives them a common magic item. 19 to 24. A battle for the ages. Well done. Answers 3 questions and gives them an uncommon magic item. And for 25 plus, I have met my equal. Answers all questions and gives them a rare magic item. I remember reading about the karaoke combat, I believe, when we were doing our one-shot. And so, I've always been more curious about this character, and what he's about and what he does. But his current status is singing karaoke or lounging on the porch. Current location is Lola's comfy kitchen. He's Kirinalo. From the far realm. He's older than the worlds we know. And apparently 0 years old. Interesting. Circumstances of birth, the closing of the divine gate. Circumstances of death, the heat death of universes. He knows everything the DM knows, so beyond meta. True. Alright, birthplace, divine gate, place of death, also the divine gate. Current residence is Gold Arrow Station. Pronouns, he, him, all, it. Sex, he really shouldn't. Gender, male usually. Presentation, overwhelming. Eyes, embers of the multiverse before ours. Hair, if string theory were hair. Skin tone and pigmentation, the void between. Height, 5'9" or infinite. Weight, 168 pounds or the gravitational weight of all fears. Belief/deity, himself. Oh, and look at this art right here. Oh, let me dive into this. Having some karaoke here with Lola herself. Oh, that's so good. Let me get back here and finish whatever is in here. And we just have we have an article here for Lola's Comfy Kitchen. Definitely an article I recommend you all check out as well, because it's It's all just wonderful content all around. But here you go. The gravitational weight of all fears. Oh my gosh, yes, please. Right? Alright, and so here we go. I will send all of you the link once again, just for the article that we've finished reading. I will take my little sip, sip, sip. Oh, thank you for the read. Thank you for the submission. It is wonderful. And now, working our way further down the list, we have articles from... What are we doing here? We have 3 more articles to go through today. Hello, hello. Let us get this one on here. And this one, Simplexion, is from Inquisitor.
Refresh yourselves.
Thank you for the sippy. I have nearly as much channel points as I have on the WorldAnvil channel. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess you just have to start using them for sippies. But alright. This article right here is the one we shall read next. Let us go. And here we are, Simplexion. And we shall proceed. Them's me, them's you! It is indeed you! Here we go. A genetic mutation of the cyanide abilities of the Ziz. I'm assuming that's how to pronounce that. Oh, maybe. I fear you're going to dissolve into a puddle and someone has to bring you into your corporeal form again. Oh, it's fine. That happens every day. I can deal with the consequences. Oh, that's a draft article. I was gonna click on it just to see if I can get the little, to see if there's a little pronunciation. Zix, okay. 'Tis the Zix. Alright, Simplexion is beyond the simple lack of cyanide telekinetics, dulling or nullifying cyanide abilities around the simplex subspecies. Depending on the level of development and honing, the abilities bestowed can be utilized in a number of roles within the social structure of the Zix, usually within security or military. Under scientific observation, particularly strong carriers of the gene have shown to affect microgravity in pockets around themselves. It has been theorized that in extreme scenario, telekinetic psionics could be exhibited in addition to cyanide nullification. This advanced condition has been dubbed the double negative state. In smaller jungle tribes, the Zix have been said to harbor a myth about such a being. This is often the same circles where Mothric Sunshadow Hawk is whispered to be more than they seem. One tribe in particular have gone as far as to say the fated one has already been born within their tribe, has been taken away to a secure facility as a child, and is yet to be seen again. Symptoms. A telltale sign of someone with this Simplexion is that their horns are always curved downwards. Some even believe the potential of the individual can be found indicated on how their horns develop, stating longer and wider horns indicate a stronger ability to nullify psionics. So I'm always excited to read about things that are like psionic abilities. Because one of the LARPs that I go to, or like I haven't been there in a very long time because, you know, life. One of the LARPs I go to deals with like psionics and psionic abilities, and so it's cool to see it in like people's worlds. And so I get to like dive into it and have little peeks and looks at how it works in other settings. So it's a lot of fun. And treatment. While no current treatment exists, there has never been a view of Simplexion as being something that needs fixing. It is seen as a genetic quirk and, though viewed with unease, is accepted as a subspecies as a cyanide Zix. There we go. Cultural reception. Those with Simplexion are viewed with caution and suspicion, but are seen to be an integral part of certain organizations, particularly within security and military, where protection and mitigation is required. So yeah, this is a cool little mutation revolving around psionics and psionic abilities. So it's really cool. And I see, of course I do see that the affected species, the Zix, is still a draft or private, one of the two. I look forward to seeing who they are and who they become, or like, you know, what they are as a species. It's awesome to see how different everyone's take on magic can be. Yes, right? It's cool to see just like it's different interpretations, it's different ways that people see kind of like, you know, the same or similar topics more or less in different settings and the way different things work in different types of worlds. And so yeah, it's a lot of good fun. And so, with that said, that concludes that particular article read. Oh, I need to stop with the yawning. Life is hard. Life is hard when you're just a sleepy bird. I've earned my little sip. I need to write the article, but most of their lore is in my head. Heck yes. I can relate to that. That's how basically every single everything is for my world right now. So let's load up this next. Oh, I accidentally pulled the article out of the tab by accident, my bad. And so we have this article here that is haunted by that mom friend. And so this is another Tomi. So we are excited to feature these always. I wrote 2 summer camp articles on dragons, species, and culture, and focus exclusively on how this familiar thing is different. Ooh. Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, like, that's one of my favorite things about world building is how, like, so many people, like, especially, you know, in the fantasy genre in general, like, you're gonna see a lot of people working with, like, the very, very familiar kind of, like, standard stock of fantasy races. Like, you know, you got your humans, you have your elves, you have your everything, you know, under the sun. But then people do them so differently, just all across the board. And, like, you know, you have vampires, and people do them differently in so many different ways. And so that's the fun part about world building, is just seeing how people do things different, just over time. Yes, here we go. Haunted. To be haunted is to be sensitive to spirits, and be actively observed by spirits. This typically means hearing the voices of the spirits, feeling phantom tugs or prods in certain directions, or getting premonitions if you tune into your surroundings. In extreme situations, one who is haunted can be possessed. This is typically a spirit's last resort to get something across, as most understand that possession is not typically welcomed by the living, and that the spirit wouldn't be able to get away with it for long before being banished. And so, across the realms, each realm's culture has a different stance on what it means to be haunted. And so, this, like last week, we read another one of that Mom Friends articles. This is a world that is set in, like, the setting of Minecraft. And I think that alone is really cool. And so, we have different realms here. We have the overworld, we have the nether, and we have the end. And so they have different views on what it means to be haunted. So in the overworld, to be haunted means you have done a disservice to the dead, either while they were living or as they died. If an overworlder is haunted, they view it as a curse, and anyone who finds out, they would shun the person. Overworlders, as a general rule, do not know how to stop being haunted in this way. In the nether, to be haunted means that you have done deeds of great enough that your ancestors want to be with you and watch over you. If a netherborn is haunted, they view it as a sign that they are doing the right thing and are making their ancestors proud. If anyone were to find out, they would support the person who is haunted and would try to talk to the spirits if possible. And finally, in the end, to be haunted means you have piqued the interest of the dead, in a way that could be malicious or supportive depending on the entity. If an Endarian is haunted, they view it as a sign that they are on the verge of something big, and to be careful moving forward. If anyone were to find out, they would take interest in the haunted person's project. Yeah, these different stances, they're really cool. And so, yeah, you have these 3 different kinds of cultures. One thinks it's like inherently a bad thing. Another thinks it's like inherently a good thing. And the third is a little nebulous. It's seen generally positive, but it also could be a bad thing. Because this interest in the spirits could be positive or it could be malicious. And so that's pretty cool. And so we did talk about this article a little bit, like the idea for it, and so this is meant to be kind of like a mechanic for gameplay. And so here's some mechanical thoughts about this. So players can take the haunted trait at any point, but it will be irreversible once official. If a character is haunted, they can reach out to the spirits for guidance and advice. They will not inherently know the spirits they are communing with, nor are the spirits compelled to tell the truth. But the character can build rapport over time with offerings or discussions. This connection with the spirits is very important to how agreeable they will be if called upon. Let's see. Simply asking or casually interacting with the spirits does not require a saving throw, but does require external communication, i.e. writing or speech. Trying to control or harness the spirits is a large challenge, getting increasingly difficult the more demanding a task. If trying to force the spirits to behave a certain way, the player must make a constitution saving throw, with their relationship with the spirits adding or subtracting a modifier to the overall DC. If the character fails the save, roll a d20. On a natural 1, the spirit possesses you for 5 rounds or 30 seconds. On a natural 20, the spirits do act against your target, but they choose what they do. The spirits cannot actively deal damage to anyone nor communicate in depth with those not haunted. Some examples of what they can do are as follows. Clouded Mind. You can call upon the spirits to faintly materialize around one target, whipping around them. The target must make a wisdom saving throw or their next attack will be at disadvantage as reality is slightly blurred. And Shrieking Secrets. You can call on the spirits to scream at a target, muddling their hearing with distractions and disarray. The target must make a constitution saving throw or be deafened for a round. If they succeed, they will hear the spirits but are unaffected, while also understanding one random phrase for the spirits. Woohoo. And there you have it. So this is cool. I know that there are... I don't really know how many mechanics there are in play in D&D already for people who are haunted. I think there is a background, maybe, that's like... that might be haunted or haunted adjacent. But this is cool. Like, this really, like, puts it into context for specific... like, for this specific setting, you know? You have your 3 different realms, what they mean culturally. And then once you put players into that setting, then you can say, like, okay, you can communicate with them, you can do these things with them. And basically, you're making friends. You're making dead friends. And basically, you get to ask them, like, hey man, can you do this for me? And they're like, what if I don't want to? And you're like, okay, fair, I guess. Or they do the thing, and you're like, awesome, yay, cool. Ghost friendship. And so I'll just share the link with you all again in case anyone missed it. And I will, of course I gotta take my little sips. Oh, doing so much talking lately has me very, very parched. That's just what happens. And it seems like we only have one article left today from the list, and that is...
Refresh yourselves.
Oh, sippy? Empty sip! I have to go acquire another sippy for myself. Because of course we cannot... Bard, yes! This is the Moonlight Bard's article. I will be right back with a little more sip. Important. We cannot have stream without sip.
Refresh yourselves.
Ah! Why do you do this to me? I'm so far away. Ah! You keep giving me sippies while I'm standing up. Very rude. Make me like to press the sippy button whenever she's away. Ah, devious. So devious. But yes, alright, so we have this final article, at least for the planned list. Here we go. Thank you, Canva makes it easy. But here we go. We have a vehicle here, And this is Threeble's inspiration. And this is a ghost story. Woohoo. Threeble's inspiration, you say? Well, as it happens, that's one of my very favorite ghost stories to tell. From Shiv Moonsong. Named for the great dragon clan lord Threeble, Threeble's inspiration was a small ship, quick and light and sturdy in a storm, perfect for courtier duty, and with a captain known for his wits and daring and hatred of pirates known to the depths of his sturdy soul, down to the depths of his sturdy soul. Motto: swift, silent, secure. And this is a unique vehicle. So we have some famous lore. Here you go. Da-da. Inspiration-class ships are two-masted sea-sailing clippers built for durability and speed on the water, a design which exists little altered to this day. To achieve this, they give up cargo space, which makes them perfect for any sort of small or delicate shipping. They are regularly used to transport important documents, small bundles of highly delicate, often valuable goods, or even to move a family's household goods from one island to another. Throughout history, they've been used to transport treasure, emergency aid, and even important dignitaries. This is the story of one of those times. Here we go. Captain Thalid Ironfoot Pro was no man's fool. He knew that taking on a ship like Threeble's inspiration would be a love affair filled with danger and excitement. That was what made him agree. He'd barely been captain for a year when he was approached by a representative of a royal family with an unusual mission. He heard out the details, made his stipulations, and accepted the first half of the payment that was offered. It was enough to keep the crew and victuals and the ship in repair for another full year. There was promise of more upon safe delivery of the cargo. Cedra Honnet, welcome from the dead. Welcome, welcome in. On the appointed night, the ship made anchor. Off the shimmering sands, waited for a boat, carrying 3 passengers. When the boat arrived, and old Ironfoot helped the first passenger aboard, he was the only person on the ship who was not surprised to find that the special cargo was the very heavily pregnant Queen Elia, accompanied by her husband King Darien and a midwife. It was, in those days, tradition of the royal family to give birth away from the Capitala, as a reminder to each member of the family that we are all one people, no matter what island we are born on. And Elia had decided to bear her first child on Smooge. Oh. This is a group of several islands within the diaspora that form the continent of Argenti. Ooh, strips of basalt. Ooh, this place seems cool. I'll have to read about this later. A destination that was never easy. It was questionable whether someone in a delicate condition should take such a journey. But Elia was determined, and furthermore, she was the queen. In the end, they set sail with smooth seas and clear skies. For the entire voyage to Smooge, the weather held out. Breezy days made for sailing, and nights made to trade ghost stories. The crew of the ship was both entertained and enthralled with the terrifying ghost tales the queen was delighted in telling. Although she would die without ever knowing, several bitter old sailors never slept well after one particularly blood-chilling tale about a cursed ghost ship named the Bloody Hand. It was on the last evening of their voyage, just as the Smooge was coming into sight of the horizon, that everything went straight to hell. The morning sunrise had been red as blood, and so the weather eye had been keenly keeping eye for the storm they all feared was coming. The black clouds began to roll in just as the sun was beginning to kiss the sea, and there, silhouetted against that sinking sun, was another ship. It didn't appear to be moving laterally, that is, across their path. It appeared to be chasing them. 15 minutes' keen observation and some quickly charted maths proved this to be true. The ship was pacing them from behind, and would certainly overtake them. They would have to slow their speed as they approached the treacherous waters around Smooge, or risk being swept aside by a wave, and be brought down on one of the infinite fingers of hazardous rock that lay just below the surface. At that point, the ship would be able to catch them. No one was certain what would happen if that were allowed. Old Ironfoot was afraid for the queen. It was clear that she'd begun her labor, and though she seemed to be progressing slowly, the experienced grandfather knew that these things were only a matter of time. He would allow no delay, whether friend or foe, and so he set his sailors about enacting a daring plan, inspired by the blank. I think you may be missing a link here. Oh no. It is inspired by something. Working quickly in the fading night, the sailors threw out the nets and gathered up as much lumic help as their nets could fetch. They sang and giggled like children as they broke the tips off of leaves and squeezed the sticky, oily sap out of the leaves and began smearing it everywhere. On the railings, on the masts and the rigging. They mixed it with the galley's supply of rum and splashed it onto the sails. As the waning light of the evening gave way to the waxing dark of the night, Threeble's inspiration emerged as ghastly representation of a ship. It was then that the Queen's labors began in earnest, and her howls and shrieks reverberated against the clouds as the glowing ship sailed on towards port. Oops, Queen's favorite ghost story. Ah, yes. The Weather Eye, once the storm has broken, was tasked with watching the chasing ship to observe any reactions it made. As full darkness fell upon the water and the ship's eerie glow carried through the rain and bobbed around on the turbulent seas, the Weather Eye reported the chasing ship had heeled over and was making sail to head back the way they'd come, just as fast as the storm-set winds would let them tack. They made it to Smoge in time. Queen Elia had to be gently hoisted into the landing boat with a fishing net, and swore afterward it would end up being the most comfortable part of her labor. Still, they made it to port onto the rocky island's bare basalt before the Queen could go no further and had to allow nature to take its course. The midwife was there and the king too, but so was that old salt Ironfoot, experienced grandfather aiding where he was allowed and making it out of the whole ordeal with only a broken hand. The Queen's doing, if you must know. And that, my friends, is the story of how I was born. Shiv Moonsong recounting family oral history regarding her own birth. What a fun story. They dress themselves up like a ghost ship to scare away pursuers. I love that. It's basically the equivalent of chasing down a ship only to find out that, oh shoot, it's the Flying Dutchman. I just, ooh. That's so good. I love that story. And of course, because this is a ghost story, we have the Spooky Shenanigans badge here. You know, I'm actually not sure whether or not I've earned this badge yet. I don't know, I'll have to go back through my articles and see if there's any haunted tales or spooky stories that I can tell in them. But yeah, this is such a fun little ghost story. I love that little tidbit about how being lowered in a literal fishing net was like the most comfortable part of the Queen's labor. That's really funny. Oh, for further listening while at work. Ooh. What is this? What are you sharing? The Jolly Roger's Flying Dutchman. Oh ho ho. I see, I see. Sailors are notoriously superstitious, that is true. But here we go. And there's the link once again for everybody. I have my fresh, full glass of water. Many thanks everyone for all these wonderful articles that you've sent me today. Or just in general. You didn't. Only like 2 people sent articles to me today, so throughout the week. All of you have sent me articles throughout the week. By the juice of the beat, I set my mind in motion. Let's see, and I just want to make sure that I did not miss anyone on this list by accident. How many articles are on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we do indeed have 16 unique authors on this list. Good. That means we got everybody. Ooh. Def sent mine today. That is true. That is true. Thanks for the stream, Strix. Always nice to hear you read all these amazing articles. Strixline Voice Magic. Oh my god, you guys are being so nice to me. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and you know what? I did say if we had some time, I would also share the article I was working on. Or at least I'll share like parts of it. I'll skim over the rest, but I'm mostly just jazzed about the quote that I came up with. It's like I don't know. It's like you ever just write something and you're just so enamored by your own thing, and you're just enamored so much by like one tiny piece of your writing that you're like, oh, I will never have a prouder moment in my life. It's not even like. It doesn't even have to be anything spectacular, it just needs to grip you in this way. So yes, I love my own supply, heck yes! Yeah, so some people might Some people might have already seen this, just like in one of the discords I'm in. Or like a couple, I don't know, I shared it in a couple places just because I wanted to talk about it. But here we go. We have, I don't know, this entire article is kind of like, I'm working on completely fully rewriting and reconstructing an older article. But this is an article for the newly named Vasra, the New Dawn. And so this is one of my gods. Not one of, it is like the god of my world. The bringer of the new dawn. And so, yes, this is Vasra, the goddess of creation and rebirth, first of the divines, and a great mother of the gods in Malkora. Oh god, true. Yes, Radiant Mother, revered as Hope Incarnate, Vasra was the first deity to arrive in Malkora during the Nameless Age, ultimately pulling the world from this dark and desperate age. Every deity which followed behind her was born of her will or can trace her origins back to her, with her relation ranging from creator to distant relative. Link please, it's a draft, I cannot link it. This article is not yet public. Cause I'm telling you, this thing is not even close to ready to be seeing the light of day. But it'll happen. It'll happen one day. One of these days. But yes, I've like a couple little tidbits here. Like all these sections I still have to rewrite fully. That's fine. Line is reticent to share her own stuff pre-perfection. That is true. That is absolutely true. But yes, I do like to start all my articles with like a flavor quote. And so the one that I wrote for Vasra here, it goes as follows. If there's still time left after your article is still my Dragon Sun library building. Oh, that is true. That is true. I could read your building article. I just might. All right. For even the Radiant Mother herself saw a light in humanity so bright that she would heave the break of dawn from the belly of oblivion simply to show the sun its rival. And this is a quote from the Chronicles of the Dawn. I'm very happy about that quote that I made. What a quote! I'm sharing it with people and they're all telling me like, oh man, that's a good line. I'm like, like, you're being so nice to me, thank you, but I agree with you, I actually really love this a lot. I love this when you shared it on the Discord, but it's still so good. Thank you, yes. And that's like, gives a pat on head, thank you. But yeah, so like, I just feel like that really summarizes this goddess a lot. Like, really well. Like, she is the bringer of the new dawn. She's like the reason that the sun still rises in a world that basically was almost swallowed by the magic of oblivion. Like, the darkness was just like really, really trying to swallow up this world and just not let anything live anymore. And so through many events and happenstance circumstances, was it the ink blot? Was what the ink blot? Oh no, I forgot what I said. The ink blot. No. No. Not quite. Although it would be similar. It would be similar, maybe. And may in some ways be related. Theoretically. In theory. I'm anthropomorphizing the ink blot a lot. Well, listen, I guess you could say that the ink blot is a little bit of foreshadowing in some degree. But is it foreshadowing if it's about the past? I don't know. Like my bed swallowing me into darkness while I hide in my castle of pillow. Yes, precisely. But yeah. So this is the like non-summer camp article I'm like slowly working on in between my fixing and such. So yeah, I'm just having some fun with it, making some stuff. Cause like I bring up this goddess so frequently, cause like why wouldn't I, given her role in, you know, everything. She needs to have an article. Like a good public article that everyone can go see and look at. And so, because I've name dropped her, or like, name dropped her so many times, I'm like, it needs to happen. She needs to be released into the world for people to read about. And so yeah, that's what we're doing, that's what we're working on, that's our goal right now. So let's see. I will need... Let's see if I can grab some stuff. Grab a little article link, maybe. Alright, we will take these final moments to read about the Dragon Sun Library, just because, why not? We need to get every single prompt in here, somehow. Some way, somehow. So we will have our little reading of prompt number 28. 38. 30, we're in the 30s. Numbers are hard, alright. Here you go, everybody. Here's a little link. I'll take my own little sippy for reading my own stuff. It's missing Lib the Library Dragon, but she will get her own article. Very good. I like Lib the Library Dragon. That's just has a good ring to it. But here you go. We got the Dragon Sun Library overview. The Dragon Sun Library is the library to get to when you want to read a book, have a chat, or gather knowledge or information. At least in Hulwar. The library of the university is off limits to the public, and there are only a few other libraries in Manvanger, and none of them is so cozy as the Dragon Sun Library. See, I do like that you describe it as cozy, but this image that you've used has like this like very epic and very dramatic feeling to it. Like, you got this dramatic lighting with the clouds, and it's dark and everything's lit up. I don't know, it's fun. It's fun though. Who's to say a cozy place cannot have a dramatic exterior? Here we go. Oh, deep breath. Dragon Sun Library was not always the name of this building. During the Dragon Sun Empire, it was known as Rising Sun Library because of the way it glittered in the early morning sun, which gave the building its name. After all these years, it is still covered in scale-like tiles made out of clay and coated in a thin layer of brass so it looks like a brass dragon. At the start of the Silver Moon era, the library got new funds and was supplied with everything it needed, be it books, parchments, refreshments, or people who were gathering books, scrolls, and everything else. The library was a quiet place, but also a place for socializing. There were, and still are, 2 areas to talk and laugh. One is the garden in the back, and the other one, the glass dome on top of the library. During the days of the Dragon Sun Empire, it was sometimes the last building which was besieged, and sometimes was the only hope for the soldiers, depending on the era. But it was one of the buildings which survived the rise and fall of the Dragon Sun Empire and saw the rise of Hulwar, the kingdom of mankind, and it is still ruled by the same owner. Let's see, yeah, you can have a good time in here, like coming in from the dark clouds into a small island of light, which smells a bit like chocolate and old dust-covered books. Oh, that sounds so nice. That sounds like exactly the kind of place where I want to go hang out. See, owner Lib the Library Dragon is practically the owner of Dragon Sun Library. She was found by Werda and Siegfried, children of the Golden Sun bloodline. Lib is a brown dragon and one of the smallest. She easily fits in an oversized armchair and will bite you if you damage one of her precious. Her only interest is collecting knowledge, books, tomes, scripts, parchment, pages, and rolls, and whenever someone could craft some kind of communication, story, or news onto it. Communications outside and inside. The library is divided into various sections, like probably every library in the world. But the library also contains a section on specific knowledge about languages and communications which not even the university holds. That includes knowledge of sign language and the secret nodding technique of the blood mages of Longardir. Also, the library was used by spies as main meeting point. Mostly they were spies from the Dragon Sun Empire, but sometimes spies from outside. Lib, the library dragon, spotted them all. How was her secret? But she hissed at them, and everyone had to swear not to damage the things on the shelves, be it books or tables. One time a spy did exactly that, and was gnawed at, fried, and eaten. Lib does not joke about her precious darlings. Oh, The do's and don'ts of the library. Let's see. The library has her first appearance during the On the Shoulders of Giants challenge back in the day. There's also the timeline behind the era links. Ooh. Yeah, I very fondly remember the On the Shoulders of Giants challenge. That was like one of the first. It was like one of the first major challenges I participated in, like outside of like, you know, the big challenges, you know what I mean? That was like the first time I really put something in there and I got on the short list for it and I was like really excited about it. I was like, ooh, look at me go. I'm doing stuff. It was one of those, it was another one of those like my soul has left my body kind of situations where I was like, oh, me? Really? Here we go, the do's and don'ts of the library. The do's: put your reading material back from where you got them or at one of the wagons. Respect your surroundings. There are other people reading. Respect every race. No discussion. Follow the orders of Lib or get gnawed at. Yeah, you don't want to get chewed on by the dragon. And here we go, the don'ts. Do not hurt the reading material with scratches or stains. Do not disturb other people's studies. Do not get rid of your clothes. Wet coats are acceptable. Under no circumstances, anger Lib. True. So yeah, there you go. We have now read an article from every single prompt released this week. Or last week. I don't know. It was released last week. But can we make notes on the side of pages in the reading material? I don't know. I feel like in a library that's more damaging. Yeah, no. It's a hard no from Crazy Eddie. There you go. If you want to make margin notes, get your own copy. So, all right. So these have all been some awesome articles. I'm really looking forward. Really looking forward to do more of that like supplemental reading on the side of all the different things that you guys have all, you know, like written about and shared just throughout. You know, like all the little interlinked things and clearing my notifications one day. One day maybe, theoretically. It could happen. It also could not. I'm very scattered all over the place right now. Yeah, this is wonderful. I love getting to read your articles just like flat out, but then getting to share them with everyone and then seeing everyone else's commentary and seeing the number of likes on these articles go up drastically after I share them on stream is also just a fantastic feeling. Like, yes, let me just forcibly take your eyes and put them upon other people's work in a more fun and engaging way. Where you get to deliver little sippies to the reader and bonk me for sitting like a shrimp. You're performing the great work.
Refresh
Thank you for doing this.
yourselves.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for the sippies. And sometimes you gotta make corrections or comment some absurd claim of the writer. No, I've never done that. You know, school books in uni full of remarks from several generations of students. I don't know. I feel like books, specifically in a university, it's a little less serious. Like in the library, hoarding all of the knowledge, information, and relics, you best get your own copy if you're gonna start writing stuff. Oh, let's get me up here on this screen because we're not reading anything anymore at this point. We're just gonna have our little wind down. We're just gonna have our little sit and chat. So I ask everyone in the chat now, how is your summer camp going? How are you doing? What has been your absolute favorite article from this event? Just like in general, what did you like writing the most? Because of course we're talking now about the entirety of summer camp, so we don't need to talk specifically about your favorite Diamond Wave article. Although if it is Diamond Wave, you're more than welcome to say so. Just like from the entire event, what is like your favorite thing that you've written, published, doodled? I don't know. It can be big, it can be small, it can be the article that you didn't even finish writing, but the idea just captivates you so much that you know you need to write about it more. You certainly will. And Dream Cartographer made it to Diamond. Woo! Yes, that's exciting. That's wonderful. My favorite, Shield Maiden's Mountain Heart, Chocolate Article Train, and the announcement article. Yes, there you go. Still need one more to make 32. Woohoo, you're getting so close there, Jacob. Heck yeah. I really liked, oh no, everything's scrolling up for me. I'm trying to read it. I really liked I could finally make my story / World's MC's articles. Woohoo. Okay, Toy Boy writing about Barbecue Palooza. Ooh, wait, I need to go read that one then. It's like I'm gonna have another one of those moments where I'm like, I'm already very hungry sitting here right now. I need to like get off stream after this and go have my lunch and go prepare for another long drive. But like, ooh, thinking about barbecue, I'm just Gimme. Yeah, I got so many stubs meaning to do. It's great motivation to finish them. Heck yes. Yes, I have a lot of stubs kicking around that I thought I was gonna get to use for summer camp, but they just kind of never came up. You know, just a lot of topics from all over the place. I really branched out across the world when I was making the stubs earlier in the year, so not a lot of them ended up shining through during this event. I don't think I can pick a favorite right now. Give me 3 months to deliberate. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds a lot more reasonable. We are 34 out of 40, Amelie. That's amazing. Wait, is that your phone I'm hearing? Is my phone vibrating? Oh no. Well, I don't think it would be. It's like in my lap right now. So it's not like... It's not going off or anything. Let's see. One of the ones I'm most proud of is 20th Terra's most feared scholar. Ooh. Well, I managed 8 articles. Progress. Hey, 8 articles? That's still copper. Getting a badge at all is already an achievement. Like, you know, we got the crazy world builders and we got the world builders who, like, you know, kind of just do what they can, and honestly, both valid. Both extremely valid, in fact. Because, like, you know, coming from me, I'm feral for summer camp. I love this event to death. I would die for this event. Not, I'm being dramatic, but still, just to get the point across, like, I love summer camp. But even I can say, summer camp is not for everyone. You know, like, not everyone likes doing prompts. Not everyone likes kind of like the rush to create as much content as possible. It's just not for everyone. So if you're the kind of person who can only do 8, like, man, more power to you. That's still 8 more articles than you would have done otherwise. And that's still really impressive. Like, especially, oh my gosh, especially for the people who are, like, making incredible, super fleshed out, like, illustrated articles. Like, I can't do that, even. Like, even I. 31 of my articles right now are 300 words, approximate. You know what I mean? So, if you can't do Diamond or, like, all 40 prompts, there's no shame in this. Did hear it vibrating, though. Oh, maybe my phone was on my desk or something and I just didn't notice at the time. Who knows? So it is probably me. Dang. Alright. I haven't done World Ember. How different is that event? Yeah, I mean, World Ember is basically like the same amount of writing as summer camp. It's just you don't have to stick to specific prompts. You can make some extremely long individual articles and complete World Ember instead of having to do 32 for Diamond. Let's see, it's a little hard to have articles not go against established published lore. Most prompts felt more like schoolwork. I averaged 350 words an article and stop. Yeah, I mean, basically all my articles this year were 300 words, but I don't know. Let's see, what did Stormgirl say? I'm at 53k words with 26 articles so far, the most I've ever written in a month. Oh my gosh, yeah, that is a lot. I've achieved Diamond. I'm at like 10,000 words, approximately. It's essentially like bare minimum, you know what I mean? But I did it. But I did it and I got there, so that's really what I'm proud of. Yeah, so summer camp is a fantastic way to start a world from scratch. Like if you don't have a lot of stuff in there, like you get a crazy amount of inspiration. All these prompts can take you a really long way. Like yeah, twisted meaning of prompts too, like absolutely. The prompts during summer camp are meant to be twisted. However you are able to take these prompts and interpret them, do it. Just do it. Like this is meant to like tickle the little inspiration sensors in your brain. Like it's not a hard guideline or like it's a suggestion. It's a suggestion. As long as you can make a case for how the prompt makes sense for what you've written, you're good. You're solid. It can be like it can be the biggest reach in the world, but as long as you're able to make it, just do it. Just go for it. Like the goal is not to box you in summer camp. It's just to give you a jumping off point. So you are free to just explore these prompts however you wish, whichever way makes sense to you. And if you need some help finding weird ways to twist something that just doesn't otherwise work for your world, you got a whole community of excellent beings who are willing to just spitball random ideas with you just forever. But yeah, once I hit 12K back in Silver Week, haven't counted in the last few days. Plus there's to be 20K in my AMA. Yeah, I've been popping into the channel where you've been doing this AMA. Like, oh my gosh. The walls of text are so inspiring. Honestly. Like obviously it's a lot to go through, but it's also like it's a lot of good juicy information in there. Yeah, so that's really it. We made it to the end of, well, you know, like it's not the end yet, but like as far as Feral Friday, as far as these particular streams are concerned, like we've made it to the end. We've had our little diamond read through, and from here on out, we'll have to just kind of see where things go. We gotta get you in on that one day line. One day, for sure. We will absolutely have to get me in on those. Cause I did an AMA at one point years ago, like, you know, just like for me and my personal friends, like on Facebook or whatever. Just kind of posted that I was gonna be doing this. And I was just like, ask me questions about my world. And people asked so many great questions, so many things that I had to consider. Like not even necessarily about the story necessarily, but about how things function and what they do. And just, it was really good. Like big societal questions, like you know, magic and how governments work and how like people with disabilities exist in your world and what options they have that are different from the real one. You know, like big questions, like big important questions. Question: how do you see the not safe for work tag on an article? Nothing appears when I look over the list on my prompt. I have no idea. I have no idea. I've never used the not safe for work tag because I just haven't needed to, really. So I couldn't answer that question. It hides the article from non-logged in people and people who have not checked the I want to see not safe for work thingy. Okay, yeah, so I guess if someone clicks on that article and they are not opted in to not safe for work content, they simply just won't have access to it. But yeah, like Jacob is saying, if you want something to show up in the article, put it in yourself. Make yourself a little like BB code container, like put like a little warning box somewhere. It's like this is not safe for work content. Basically like that. Yeah. Sounds pretty good. And so yeah, so once again, I just want to thank everybody for coming in, hanging out, sending in articles for me to read. It has been absolutely marvelous getting to feature all these articles and getting to chat with you guys about them. I will have the showcase article for this Diamond Wave up maybe soon, probably not today, maybe not tomorrow either, because of course like the meetup is tomorrow, and so a lot of travel time, a lot of everything. That's okay. It'll be done before the end of the actual event. That's my goal. And so yes, these worked on World Anvil. Some bootstrap alerts. Ooh. Ooh, what did I do? I just hit a button. Oh no. Alright, perfect. Okay, so let us find a little thing, little button. And so, I'm going to gently pick up all of you Anvilites, like lovingly in my hands. I'm going to pick up all of you, and I'm going to gently place you into the hands of World Anvil. So, if there are any articles that you have yet to write, anything that you are still planning, anything that you're still working on, it's Kat over there, our one-shot friend. Yes, absolutely, go hang out with Kat, go work on some articles, and get that diamond, or get whatever goals you're working on, or even if you're not working on summer camp at all, get whatever you're working on done. Heck yes, it is time for some productivity time. Thank you for the closing sippies. Everyone have the most wonderful and lovely of lovely days. Just have fun, take care of yourselves, enjoy the writing process, enjoy the rest of summer camp. I will not see you live on stream, on my stream anyway, until after summer camp is over, on Tuesday, like the day summer camp ends. So yes, enjoy the rest of summer camp, write your wonderful things, grab your sippies, go world build, have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you guys later. Goodbye. Mwah.